Greetings, onesies. This is Josh Williams, and I wanted to take a second to say thank you for clicking on this episode of the One Man Podcast. Whether it's your first time listening or 100th, I appreciate you choosing to spend your time with me in your ears. And just a reminder that every single episode is available for free at onemanpodcast.com, but you can also go to whatever your favorite streaming platform is, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, whatever it is, we are there. There's also a social media account on Instagram. It's just One Man Podcast. To get a little extra content for yourself. Sometimes I post pictures about the stuff that I'm talking about on the episode. You're also welcome to send an email to contact@onemanpodcast.com. Whatever you send, I read it on the episode. So love hearing from you guys. And just want to say one more time, thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. It really does mean the world to me. And I hope you enjoy this episode.
What's up, everybody? This is DJ Demers.
I'm K. Trevor Wilson.
Hey, it's Krista Allen.
Hi, this is Rick Mercier.
What's up, guys? This is Paul Verzi, and you are listening to the One Man Podcast. Yeah!
My name is Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 448 for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. How's it going, onesies? How's your guys' week going? Are you having the best day, month, year, existence ever? Who knows? What is this thing that you have clicked on, rather, either by intent or accidentally? Well, it's the One Man Podcast. It's me, comedian, brand ambassador, earthling Josh Williams, telling me what's going on with me personally, professionally, and everything in between. And this week, I have a co-host, a co-pilot. Last week, we tried calling him. He ignored my calls. How dare he? But we chatted afterwards, and I was going to call him and have him on the episode just to talk about his first set. But then I was like, why don't you just come and just co-host the thing with me? So I have Mark here. Mark, welcome to
How's it going? I'm honored to be here. Thanks, Joe.
Honored? I don't know. Lower that, you know.
That's my first podcast.
Is it really? You've never done a podcast before?
Nope. No.
Okay. No, easy peasy.
I'm
so
excited.
Good. Yeah. I mean, it is just talking.
Yeah. I can manage that. I talk a lot.
I think you can handle it. Yeah. Gang, this week I'm going to be telling you guys about a one-nighter I did, a couple little fucking things from my work week, just a bunch of random little stuff. I did like almost an afternoon of customer service at one point, and I'm going to tell you guys about that. Watched a couple shows, not much else, and right after the sunset. So Mark being here is really going to cover a lot of the weight. He's going to do some heavy lifting for lack of content
there we go.
This week. So what do I want to start by telling you guys? Anecdotally, I think I was telling Mark all the things because he's not wearing headphones. I am. And I was telling him all the things that'll make noise, during the episode. So I'm doing this, that, and I'm gathering up all of the highlighters and pens and shit that I had to move on the desk. And I'm just sitting here fiddling with them. So I'm the culprit. Odds are Alphonic will clean all that up, but it's just funny to literally within a minute of saying, hey, just make sure you don't do, hey, that's actually a thing of the podcast. Did you listen to the last episode?
Mm-mm.
You didn't?
No, I didn't hear it.
No, slurping is 1000% a staple.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Well, because I think at one point I was just like,
I was laying it on pretty thick.
And it's, it's definitely a thing. So Mark unintentionally did a podcast.
It was more intentionally. I was trying to be.
No, but I'm saying you didn't realize it was actually something about the episode. So you unintentionally contributed exactly what should be expected of you. Anywho, so last episode, guys, I forgot to talk about some of the changes that I need to make on some of the other episodes on the platform. So as I get caught up on this, I also spent several hours of my spare time trying to get ChatGPT to create, I guess, a note sheet for me, not in taking notes, but just things that happen. So for example, I don't know if you know this, Mark, but I've missed giant gaps in the history of this podcast.
You mentioned as of recently.
And one of the ways that I'm going to, I intend to go back and record them all. I have all the note sheets printed, and some of them have things that happened and occurred, but I'll be using, an amalgamation of the photos that I took, because I never delete my photos, not intentionally. I'll take a picture and I'm not like, okay, now go in and delete it. Because I usually keep, like, if I take pictures for work or something, I'm like, I'm going to have to reference these later in the week when I do reporting, or if someone has to see them. So you don't delete them then. And I also don't go, okay, it's the end of the week, go back and delete everything. Yeah. So I've just got years of photos here, but these photos, I don't take a ton of photos in my day-to-day life, just doing my stuff, but a lot of them will remind me about gigs and things that I did over the years because I'll see them there. So that's one reference. My calendar is another, to see what kind of shows or brand ambassador gigs. And then another is emails, as I can see what what emails are being sent to me, but I can also see like, oh, this was a order that I placed for something or whatever it is. So it'll help give me context. What was I doing and buying?
A little
and
more organized.
Yeah. It gives me some form of history of that time instead of going, what was I doing that week?
Yeah. You don't have
Off
to
the
hold
top
it up
of my
here.
head.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You don't have to hold it up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those will be enough of a footnote to remind me that, oh yeah, that thing. So, but on top of that, I was also like, oh, I found in Cineplex, I can go to the Cineplex app and I can actually reference which, like, I can see what tickets I bought. So I'm like, I know when I went to go see a movie or something like
and
that.
that'll help you.
But that got me thinking, well, hold on. If I can get ChatGPT, I go, here's all the weeks that I missed. I go, so I made it go to my website and it looked at all the episodes there. And I go, cool, now you know what's missing. Then I said, I want you to tell me. It took a lot of work, and I find that with ChatGPT, I'm like, it's with me 100% of the way until I get about 98% done. I'm like, we have one last thing to do, and then it just fucking undoes itself, and it forgets another rule I made, or just completely unravels. And I'm like, why do you always do this when we're at the last one? Everything was perfect. So I'm getting it to offer me like 10 pop culture references from that week.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, okay, well, if that's the week that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock,
gotcha.
I want to know that.
Right.
So at first I was telling it, give me the pop culture. I'd be like, oh, so-and-so this. I'm like, I want to know when Kanye West walked out on stage for what's her face? Taylor Swift. I want to know when, this, and that. I go, I want the pop culture stuff. I go, I don't want you editorializing. I don't want you being like, oh, creates internet buzz. I'm like, no. It's not your job to write the narrative.
Right.
You just go, Chris Rock slaps Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars. That's it.
Now you're trying to get that so you can kind of go back.
It'll help me remember other things.
Like,
exactly.
If it was happening that week, you would have talked.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like, wow, can you guys believe that last night? Like, no. I'll be like, this was what was going on. But had I been talking about it, and not everything am I going to want to talk about, but it just helps me remember kind of what was the big thing. Right.
At that time.
Charlie Kirk's murder. Not that I would even necessarily talk about it, but that was a big thing that everyone was talking about. Right. So it'd be like kind of like, well, if I was talking about stuff that week and I didn't have a lot to talk about because I can't remember every little detail, having some of these things, not to mention I also told it to tell me everything that's releasing on all streaming platforms and movie theaters.
Okay.
So I'm like, I want to know what came out that week because, the year Making a Murderer came out, everyone was talking about it. Right. So just when something big happens in the media, I wanted to signal that. So anyways, I was working on that stuff, but there's some other things that I have to do for the catalog. So for example, a long time ago, Spotify decided it wasn't accepting MP4 files. It was, and then it's, nope, everything has to be MP3. Okay. So I had to go back, take all those episodes, convert them to MP3, re-upload them to Spotify. Yeah. And then at one point...
You couldn't just ask ChatGPT to do that? Can you...
Well, I mean, it would take me the same amount of time to upload it to it that it would to upload to the software that converts it. So it's like take a file, add it, but it's still a 1-by-1 file conversion, a 1-by-1 upload. It can't log into stuff.
Okay.
Right. It can just.
How many episodes did you have to do that one with?
So many, hundreds, and because it was every interview, it was everything, and then at one point, YouTube and stuff like that, it was like, oh, we're not allowing this in outro music, and for a long time, it was just take the episode away.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Okay,
it would be like, it's not posted. Instead of like, now there's the option to like mute something, but then that's a mute. So my thing is like, if I played a 5-minute song, it's just like 5 minutes of dead air at the end. But I was also doing interviews with comics and that would be, I would basically, I'd do an interview with them. And then periodically throughout the episode, I would play like a 5 or 6 minute bit of theirs. And then back to the interview, just so people got an idea, like, here's the guy, but here's also some of his stand-up. Right? Well, all of those are off of albums that have got copyright things in the background. So even though the comic he's great with it, YouTube and Spotify and all these other things don't know
flagged.
that. And it's all flagged and it's all, muted or it's taken down or any monetization from this will go to that company. Is I'm talking for 2.5 hours, a 3-minute song gets all the money from this. So essentially that is yet another test. It's not just recording episodes. I have to go back and find all the episodes on all the platforms, pull music. So I don't do outro music anymore. Pull that. I have to make sure that the files are done a certain way.
What did you use for outro music? It's not
whatever. Random stuff.
Oh, okay.
Random, like a real song and stuff. Because every other podcast I was listening to was doing it.
Yeah, right.
Right. And I even reached out to some, like I won't name the ones because I'm not trying to put them on blast, but some of them were pretty big. And I mean like millions big. And I reached out to the producer who I know, and I said like, hey, how do you buy like a license or something for it? He's like, no, He's like, no, I just play them. I go, you guys haven't gotten, because like they have sponsors, they have paid ads every single week, everything. And I was like, well, if you guys are literally making money, so they would have an argument to be like, yo, you're making money and you play our music.
Do you think it's because they make money for YouTube so that they get a pass?
It's not YouTube.
It's not.
It may be on YouTube, but that's not where the platform is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh, I got 2 of them here. Sorry, I'm just getting messages from work. Want to make sure that it's not important, Let's make sure that it's not important. Hey, there we go. Sorry, gang. That's the ADD radio, as to be expected. Yeah, no, I think that I don't know why I was, but they were like, no. And I go, you don't really think, no. They go, no one's ever said anything and everybody else does it. So I was like, okay. I go, if the people who are making money with their podcast are not being, attacked and demonetized or whatever, I go, well, then no problem. But that changed when all the platforms are like, your thing doesn't come on our platform if it's not this format and if it has, music or anything like that. Yeah, like all the money will go to them. I'm like, all right, well then that's something I have to clean off. So over the years, I've had to adjust and I will still clean that up. I'll have to go onto Spotify and onto YouTube.
Right.
For the longest time I knew YouTube would do it. So when I would record the episode with music, I would go into iMovie and I would just trim off the song from the end. And then that was it, throw it up.
Well, good thing it's just at the end then, if that was the case.
But even my intro music I have a license for it, but it still gets flagged every time. I still have to go, I have a license, click, and then it allows it through. Yeah. But yeah, so it's work. It's work.
Yeah. I was about to say, you took the time to do that and it's still getting flagged. So now you have to do more work, even though you tried to preemptively fix that.
100%. And the week Gord Downey died, I did a whole episode where I played a few Tragically Hip songs. Like I should go back to that episode and see how it plays on YouTube or Spotify. Like if it's just dead air for like 5 minutes in the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Now people aren't stupid. I'm sure the onesies are just going like skip. And he's talking again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just, it's not clean. And I'd like to make sure that now that I'm back and I'm going to do all this work, I'm going to clean everything up. So guys, that's one of the things I have to do. I have to mark my episodes. So there's still, if you're listening on one of those platforms that I mentioned, you're like, you don't have anywhere near as many episodes as you say you did. Odds are it got flagged, blocked, and I just haven't sat down and done it. But that's the goal is to do it. I also, I guess I should signal that I fully intended to get an extra episode recorded on Saturday. I was like, Saturday morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to record one of the old episodes. That way I get the current week's episode out and I make up for one of the old ones. Okay. I did not do that. And I completely forgot. I can't say that if I remembered I would have, because there was a lot to do this last weekend. And in fact, there was so much to do, I had to cancel plans. As a matter of fact, I should probably mention that. I may as well I'm going to write it down and remember later. I had to cancel my Christmas tree cutting with Mika and Jimmy and their families.
Old friends.
Yeah. I had too much work, not just, I got to do dishes and stuff. I'm doing my hair. Like I had to legit catch up with a bunch of reporting and we have a bunch of new incentives. It's nuts. So I was really disappointed because I was happy to be invited. However, I just couldn't make it work. So again, I didn't have time to if I had time to record the podcast, I had time to go hang out with those guys.
Yeah.
At least the spare podcast. So the weekly episode is work and mandatory. The other ones are passion project, reply. Yeah. And there is no time anymore. I do have to make time for it, but it's not as crucial. I really don't want to not get these episodes out anymore.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. Because even today with everything going on, I could have easily just gone and started working and had a very productive day. But I want to get this out.
And I'm sure if you could, you'd want to be hanging out with Jimmy and Mika too. So that's
not so much. No, I'm kidding. No, of course.
So they haven't changed a bit. Yeah,
no, it was great. And I saw the pictures posted this morning, and I was like, yeah, it looks like they had a great time. So yeah, that's one of the things. I may as well do the other. Do I do the other anecdote? No, I don't. Thank you for coming to do this.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
I'm just looking at my list here. I'm like, yeah, Mark's here. Yeah. Let's just so that your energy is up. Do you want to talk about your set now or do you want to wait till later? What would you like?
Hey, man, it's up to you. Your show. You ask me some questions.
Are you fucking girlfriend right now? I ask you a question. You turn around, you ask me one
Sure,
back.
we could talk about it.
Well, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Where do you want to eat?
I do like listening to you talk, but I'll...
Really? Well, I was going to say, I'm like, who likes listening to me talk? This whole show is listening to me talk.
No.
Yeah. So, okay, well, let's throw to that while I get myself organized here.
Okay.
So I told them you had a set. Did you listen to the last episode so you could hear what I said?
No, I did not. No.
You had one job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's
not like you're
Kill Tony on while doing the dishes. I should have put yours on now. So
well, just to hear what I said about
it. Yeah. Well, no, like I said, it was a misunderstanding where I thought what you had said was like, yeah, do the podcast. I didn't know that day I'm going to call back, right? But I think...
Yeah, you thought I was trying to schedule you to come and sit in.
I was also sick that day and passed out between the two.
Drowning in excuses right now.
Yeah.
I was sick. I had AIDS. The dog ran away.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let me just reframe it for anyone who may have not heard the last episode. You tried stand-up comedy for the first time. Do you want to talk about why you decided to do stand-up, or do you want to talk about just your experience? There's no wrong answer. I just don't want to make you feel like you only have the right to talk about one, or that you have to talk about everything.
Well, it all kind of began was my mom passed away last year.
That's not very funny.
And I could make it funny. I got a joke on that one. No, but I thought, let's make a bucket list. Life is, short and precious. So I had a few things, but just from, I think, like growing up, loving stand-up, loving sketch comedy, all this. Like,
who's your favorite of all time?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Like I was mentioning before, I love Chris Farley. Chris Farley was one of my favorites. I thought I would love to be the energetic fat character on Saturday Night Live someday. And I remember it was my older brother who crushed that dream pretty early of like, don't you think everyone wants to go to Hollywood and play pretend for millions of dollars? So I worked at McDonald's. It was a good choice. Thanks, Ryan. But yeah, so I just thought, I'd wanted to do it for a long time, but never really, thought of actually, jumping off that ledge and doing it. And
do you remember when was the first time you thought you wanted to do it? Okay, so I guess maybe it's differentiated, maybe it's not, where you're like, oh, when I was young, I like Chris Farley. I want to be funny and I want to be an actor.
Right.
Because I wanted to be an actor at one point because I like making people laugh and I associated, comedy, movies, funny, actor.
Yeah.
Right. And I was the last person in my life that thought I should be a comedian.
Should do it. Yeah.
I didn't do it because I wanted to. I did it because everyone else wanted me to, and they wouldn't stop telling me to do it.
That's a good way. Yeah. Because I've always been, I remember in high school, was telling, oh, you're the funniest guy I've ever met, naturally, just cracking jokes anytime you can. And like growing up with Gary Quirk there, shout out Gary Quirk. He followed his dream and he's doing acting. He just recently got on show Resident Doctor, I think it's called.
Never heard of it.
It's on Hulu. And
is he like,
he plays
main cast?
He plays one of the alien characters. So he's got a lot of makeup. He's done commercials. I forget the name.
You keep going while I look it up.
Yeah. Check him out. But we used to make videos all the time, and they're always silly.
Big fat party animals.
So,
do you know that video? We're in his driveway and we're like, the only guys who wear shirts like that are this and that, and big fat party animals.
Well, and I remember,
you guys are wearing like, get him.
Yeah. Well, I know. And we always made little silly videos like that. So that was fun to do. But I swear, just, after high school, I, just got a regular kitchen job and went with that. And yeah, there he is. Look at that.
Well, they can't look at it, Mark.
Yeah. I'm talking to you. Look at it.
I am looking at it.
Are you looking?
I'm just pulling him up here on IMDb. That's way too many pictures of Gary. I'm not comfortable with that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna look at his thing. You go ahead. So back to did you always want to? You were the funny guy.
But so at that point, it was big into Saturday Night Live. Was like Adam Sandler and Dana Carvey era and stuff like that. So I would always wanted to do that. I always was a cut up at the lunchroom table, so I never really pursued it. But it was probably when I did a best man speech for my buddy Tony, and so I had taken a long time and I made it like a nursery rhyme, and the whole thing talked about how I met him and how he influenced me on my life and all that and blah blah blah. And then when my set was over, there was a girl who was a publisher, and she walked up to me and went, "Great, I have to follow that." And I was like, oh, you know what? That was pretty fun. And obviously at a wedding, you have the best crowd you can ever have. So I didn't get any booze or anything. But from there, that
BOOS, for the record, I would imagine he had lots of booze.
It was, I heard boo earns, I swear.
Well, I'm just saying there's alcohol there. Okay, got lots of booze, not lots of BOOS.
I can't spell.
That's okay. No one can.
But yeah, so that was pretty exciting to do that. And I had a speech at your younger brother's wedding as well.
Yeah,
and that was
you got laughs on it. I remember some of the lines.
I
So
had
was
a
that
reaction out of you that I almost like I picture exactly how you'd react to that part of the
Well, do you
speech.
remember?
And,
Do you remember it?
It was the part where I was saying that Aaron was picked on.
Yeah, because
Because
everybody knows what they say. Kids are never cruel.
Yeah, exactly.
That
yeah.
was a
and
very
he was
funny
picked
line.
on, and he had the ear problem,
Mhm.
and so when he swam, he had this little headset, little bandana kind of thing that covered his ears.
Mhm.
And I remember making a joke about, that's when I knew him and met him. I wasn't friends with him because I wouldn't be friends with the weird headgear guy, but I always remember you would defend him and you'd back him up. Even
Really?
though I know you treat him like shit, like every older brother does to their younger brother, but when it came to that, you defended him, and your actual reaction in the crowd of the wedding was almost exactly like that. You were
Surprise?
laughing at me burning your brother, and then I said something sweet like you backed him up, and you're like, "Huh? What? That me?" Like,
Well, I guess it's in all fairness, I would have defended
it's
my
family.
brother.
I understand 100%. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I did that, and then I ended up working in the kitchen. I did a cooking demonstration for the wine and food show,
Mhm.
and I think as soon as I finished that, I thought maybe I should be more prepared. Like I was doing a lot of, and then you do this, and so I thought maybe I should be more prepared. So as soon as I was done my cooking demonstration, which was pretty exciting, I was pretty nervous to do so, but as soon as it was done, I wanted to like get a redo. I wanted to do it again.
Mhm.
So I felt like with this time, when was it? Last Monday or the Monday before?
It was last Monday night.
It was, yeah,
well, like not last night.
Yeah.
This is being recorded on Tuesday.
Last week's Monday night. I thought right away when it was done that I would want to do that again. I mean, one,
Mhm.
I felt you would agree the crowd was not the best crowd to have maybe for your first time.
I sincerely don't remember what I said about if I even said anything about the crowd last week, but yeah. Oh, I think I talked about TV or whatever. Yeah, they were incredibly less than ideal.
Yeah. Well, it's just like what I said when the MC came up. So I'll break down what went through my mind when I got there. So I got there, and I got there early, and you were about half an hour. You're going to be about half an hour before you got there. So I was outside, and I was kind of thinking over what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it. Pretty nervous. I got in, had a beer. As I was waiting there, I wasn't really conversing with anyone. So as soon as you showed up, my nerves kind of went away again. I was glad to talk to you about all this, and I had, some support there, which was very nice of you. Thank you.
Stop.
But so after that, it was all good. I was ready to go. And then the MC went on, and I remember he was cracking a few jokes. No one was really laughing at it. So he started talking to the crowd, and that's when he was like, "Oh, what's this table of 9? How do you know each other?" And it was like silence. They weren't even answering him, and he had to be like, you look like the dad, maybe some of these are your children. They're like, yep. Okay, I'll go to this table. And he went to the next table, and once again, what is this crowd, what are you guys all together for? Silence. So I went from nervous getting there, feeling good, waiting to go on, and when I witnessed that, I just got so much anxiety came over me to be like, I have to go on to this crowd. Now I've been to a couple of comedy shows, and there's always a good vibe, whether someone's crushing or not. The people are giggling. There's like way more of a happy atmosphere than that was kind of, bringing. So I'll just remember it went through 2 comics before me, and there was a couple laughs here and there, but not like
they were incredibly tight. And for the record, that type of crowd happens more often than you would think.
Yeah. Well, you're also saying on a Monday night open.
Yeah, exactly. It was. They're not all the time. Like, again, a lot of people who've been to they've been to a lot of comedy shows, but a lot of times they'll go right on the weekend. So when you've paid $25 a ticket or more for that show, you want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess
you know what
so.
I mean? Like I would think so. That's the thing.
Mindset.
That's the thing about like, an amateur show or like a free open mic in a bar, where if you haven't paid anything for it, like you'll fucking heckle, you'll yell out, you'll trash the show.
Yeah.
You have nothing invested in it.
Yeah.
Right. But you go to the movies, you pay $12 for a movie ticket. Someone's talking, like, yo, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, it's true.
So the whole idea with the Monday shows is a lot of the times, not always, but a lot of the times they'll have free tickets just to try to get a full room on a Monday. Monday's not typically a going out night, right?
That's right.
So some people just haven't haven't paid. And
Yeah.
odds are, if it's a larger group,
Yeah.
they got a group of free tickets.
Right.
Smaller groups paid, hey, let's go out.
Yeah.
Bigger group, odds are that someone won tickets, and it's like, hey, perfect. Because if you're going to
Kinda
go out with a big
dragged
group,
along.
if you're going to do a big group, you're going to do that on a weekend because if you're spending money, right? You're going to, we're spending money. Let's go out on the weekend when we can really enjoy ourselves, right? Monday, it's kind of like, go out, see the show, get the fuck home.
Right.
I love to go to the movies on Tuesdays because it's a couple bucks cheaper.
Yeah. That's
right? So Tuesday night is my going out
but
movie.
it's pretty busy because of that, though.
Shockingly, no. I'll go to like the 9, 10 o'clock show.
Well, movies are slowing down altogether. But,
Right.
I just remember that, Tuesdays were pretty busy due to the fact of it's cheaper. But
Yeah. And being in the entertainment industry, I try to support it at the theatrical level because that's where movies make their money.
Yeah. Well,
They don't make it off DVD sales or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's the theater. The theater makes the money off the snacks. Because a lot of people don't think that or don't know, I should say, that the movie theater doesn't make that. Let's say it's $12. They don't make $12 from that ticket.
No.
They get like 50 cents from the movie ticket. Most of that money goes back to the studio. Like like you couldn't possibly think that the theater keeps the money. It's like, then guys, how the fuck do these movies make money if the theater is keeping it?
Dead
Exactly. And DVDs was the second influx of money that would come. So even if a movie was, say cost $100 million to make and it made $60,000 at the box office, it's like, well, that's okay. When it comes out on video, it's going to make even more. Maybe that'll make it profitable.
Yeah.
Not the case anymore. If a movie and that's why I heard Matt Damon talking about this.
You just took.
Did I tell you about that?
No, I was waiting for my moment to say there's a podcast. Or
and he was saying like artsy movies, like, well, you wouldn't make all your money back at the box office, but when it released, you would get a second
and
influx.
Relied on it too. Yeah,
exactly. And that's why when everyone's like, oh, they don't make movies like they used to. It's like, yeah, because you're all stealing them.
Yeah.
Like if they're not like, it's tough too because I talk to friends who are into video games. Like, why do all these games take so long to make, and why aren't they as good? I'm like, well, because you want it to look like real life, which takes longer to program. It's not Super Mario Brothers jumping around on pixels. You want to be able to see the pores. I'm like, right, but oh, well, why don't I, why is it $100 for the game? It's like, if it takes 7 years with so many people working on it, I'm like, how do you think they're going to make their money back?
Yeah, exactly.
Like video games historically haven't really changed prices all that much.
And then you can go online and do everything online as well, which is not like you don't need to buy another game. It could just keep on.
That's the thing, right? Is everybody who doesn't pay for it and then turns around and goes, why don't I get it? Like, why isn't it better? Why can't we have more of it? It's like,
well, and like when you're talking about what's going on with streaming and all that, with DVDs being, destroyed and all that, was a good interview with Snoop Dogg talking about how come I'm not getting these large checks when my YouTube video for my music videos are, in the whatever, millions, billions or whatever. And I think about, what kind of compensations do actors get for how many streams do the movie gets played over and over again, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's something, like there's some sort of nitty-gritty, like they get paid by, I guess when they do the movie, it's like, here's your deal. Yeah. That's why a lot of them do deals with like the box office. Like, you don't have to pay me as much, but I get a piece of everything that you make from just the box office, not necessarily streaming or DVD sales or anything like that. Yeah. Again, it could be in their contract.
Because the studio needs to make money.
That's right. I listened to somebody at one point, might have been on Bill Burr's podcast, I can't remember, but it was saying how like musicians don't make money from the albums, they make money from touring
now.
Like touring, where they make their money.
Yeah.
So that's why they got to go on tour. And of course, when you go on tour, nobody wants to hear shit they haven't heard before. They want to hear the hits.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they said that on Shea 106. They were talking about one of the hosts has like a Led Zeppelin ticket that costs him $16. The problem is it because they were making so much money off album sales back in the day, they didn't need to charge that much for concerts.
Right.
But he was saying that they probably should have been charging more for this just because of what it actually costs to put on a concert, right?
Yeah.
But the record companies are so rich off the record sales now that $150 for a concert now is cheap. Like compared to some of the $300-$400 tickets you can get for, whatever, Swift or Bieber or whatever. But now it's gone so far because of streaming music, right?
The idea I would say is if you have a something that you like, support it, like pay for it, because that's how you get more of the good stuff. You know, like people are still paying to go see, you know, the new Marvel movies in theaters or the new fucking Avatar movie, even though the second one was exactly the same as the first one all over again. But people still pay to go see those in theaters, and there's a reason that they can keep making more of those because that's what people are paying for. But if you're not paying for movies, and you know, like I love horror movies, and you do have to watch a lot of bad ones for every good one that you get. But I go see them in the theater because I know that those are usually less likely to get greenlit anyways, because they're like, oh, they don't make money. So I try to support it and buy the ticket. Against fucking $12.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
it's a nice experience.
A meal costs like literally a drive-through meal costs the same, if not more.
More.
Do you know what I mean?
$15,
right?
And McVeggie or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
So for me, the point is like, okay, I'm going to get 2 hours of enjoyment out of it for $12.
Right.
You know, people are bitching. People are complaining about, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but saying like, oh, the Grand Theft Auto 6 could be $100. I'm like, it cost 13 years to make, and I think it was over $1 billion in cost just to create it. Like it right. So it's like people will play that for months, if not years.
Oh yeah, and then
for $100. Whereas like you go to the movie theater, you know, 6-7 times, you paid the same amount and you got 10 hours.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, when
percentage wise,
it's just one of those like, how much enjoyment am I going to get out of this thing? So if you chalk really anything up to that, right? Like if you compare it to something else, like I've probably said it on the podcast, but I've thought about it in life many times. When I'm at Costco, for some reason, when I go to the freezer section and something's like $20, not $18.99 or whatever for a box of something that I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm like, $20, you know? And it's like, nah, I don't want it. Right? Unless it's on sale, $5 off. Oh, okay, whatever. But there's some weird formula in my head that just like around $20, I'm like, because you just think, oh, it's going to add up quick on the bills. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But then leaving Costco, like, and that, let's say just for example, this is not something I would actually want, but it's everyone would know us from Costco, like the little chicken parm things they've got there, where it's already pre-breaded, the parm, the sauce, it's all in there, and there's like 6 or 8 of them. Right. So you go, oh, there's 6 or 8 meals there, and it's like $20. I'm like, fuck, only for 6? Nah. Right. And I will have that equation pop into my head a few times while I'm shopping. Sometimes I'll actually go for them, like whatever the thing is, and sometimes I won't. But then on the way home, I will get drive-through, and I will have spent $18 on one meal.
Yes.
Or if like there's the Costco I go to, there's a Five Guys across the street. Very rarely will I go that. Like that's over $20. So I'm like, that was one meal. I just turned my nose up at 6 meals for $20. Right. But there's like that. Oh, but that I have to cook. Like I'm not even thinking, I have to cook that or whatever.
Your face
it's just
your window of your car. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just I'm going to eat right now. And I like that food. And I really, really want, I'm like, so there's that aspect. And I don't know how that works for people. There's all sorts of mini equations like that. Yeah. Like my mom, I gave her salt and pepper shakers, grinders that were like, you just turn it upside down, press a button, and it fucking grinds one-handed. I actually laughed at Jason when he brought those home years ago.
Okay.
I laughed at him. I go, you need an automatic. You can't just pick it up and grind it yourself. And then the amount of times I was cooking where I'd be stirring with a spoon or whatever, and I just literally turn it upside down and it would just grind. So I could pepper and things like that one-handed while I was doing something else or holding it. So I was like, all right, now I have them. They're just a little bit easier to use.
It's funny because I worked in a kitchen where the pepper was from a pepper grinder, and and a lot of kitchen I worked in, they just have a bowl of ground pepper where you take a pinch and you put it in. So I hated what you're working in a kitchen, you might have something on your hands.
Yeah,
grabbing this gross, pepper grinder. So I wanted to buy a pepper grinder where it was one-handed and it was like almost like a pen, and you go like this,
just click it,
and I was made fun of. It was just.
Did you find one, or just the idea that you wanted one was?
I brought it up and they're like, no, and then I was like, well, can we just do a little thing of no, we do. This is how we do. We want fresh crack because pepper can get stale, right? So I like the fact that they're thinking of those things, but right away it's like I'm not. For every time I'm cooking something, I need to use 2 hands, and that's the exact example of.
Well, that's the thing too, and I think that because I was going, it can't just be that I'm just stirring something, but you brought up another reason why is when you're cooking, I try not to get both hands dirty.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I don't use a dish towel. A lot of people use dish towel in front of the stove and they wipe their hands on it.
Yeah.
I don't like that because then it's dirty, which means later when I'm wiping my hands on it, I'm wiping my hands on something that's dirty, and I'm certainly not changing that out every day. So for me, I'm constantly washing my hands and rinsing my hands. So while I'm cooking, if I have something on one of my hands, I can still free-handed
Yeah. And
just
get some
grind or
more
whatever.
seasoning. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not
Yeah.
touching something
Yeah.
with sauce or whatever,
Yeah.
or oils or whatever on
Yeah.
my hands.
Yeah.
So it just was something I was like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But I digress. I have that. So I got this first set that I wasn't in love with, but it was too late to bring back. I got a better set. I kept that. I gave these to my mom.
Right.
So she was here the other day. She shows up. She's got this new scarf that she's like, I like the scarf, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. It was $20 and whatever. I was like, all right. And then I was talking, I go, hey, your grinders, you still using the ones I gave you? She's like, oh, I couldn't figure them out. So I threw them out. And I was like, she's like, well, I didn't know what the charger thing is. I'm like, that's USB-C. That's all the things.
Yeah, everything
except your iPhone is USB-C. Well, I didn't know. And I go, okay, well, those were $35, Mom.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she's like, well, I'll pay for them. I'm like, no, I gave them to you. I don't care. But I'm saying that they were worth $35. You looked at it, didn't understand it. Instead of asking me or dad, or you just threw them away.
Yeah.
I go, but you're on the fence of whether or not you're going to keep your $20 scarf that you like. And you're saying that you'll use it every day and you can use it for this.
Yeah, exactly.
I go, like, again, it's just throw something away for double the value, no brainer. To keep it when you like it. There's a lot of that. So rewinding all through our different various courses, we're going back to seeing that the crowd was not particularly warm and you were anxious.
Yes.
To have to go up to said crowd.
Yeah, to said crowd. And I'll tell you right now, when I was waiting for my spot on the side of the bar off to the right, like almost felt like I was going to pass out. That's how much anxiety I had going up there. And I mean, looking back on it, and once again, thank you for recording it so I can see what I could possibly work on here and there. But I'm actually reviewing it. I was surprised how many laughs I did get. And considering that some people were just not getting a reaction, like I said, not even getting an answer to questions. I was blown away from the crowd. Like, I felt like that was rude when people are asking you questions and you kind of nod your head or, so I think they loosened up a lot more. And I felt like when you went on that you were able to talk to people and you got a lot more response than earlier on. That MC, I forget the young guy's name, but
well, it's good because I wouldn't want you to trash him on the podcast.
No, I wasn't going to try. I just felt like he was trying really hard and he was not getting any love back.
He was not, in my opinion, watching that, he wasn't ready to be a host.
Yeah.
Because when you're new, and it's my understanding that he's relatively new, his jokes weren't horrible. And I had a chat with him afterwards, but his jokes weren't horrible. It's that when you're a host, you should have enough material that you can fill your job. Your job as a host, and this was like some of the things that some of the guys had told me over the years, which I was very, very grateful for, was your job is not to be the killer, to be so fucking great and whatever it is. Your job is to give every act a warm, equal opportunity. It's to set the table for the next act.
For the next person coming.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, and I think if I remember correctly, Nick Carter, not the Backstreet Boy, the comic.
Okay. Good,
and I've had Nick on the podcast. Nick said to me, it's like your job is to be like a pilot where you're the one flying the plane. So at the beginning, you tell everyone like, this is what's going to happen. This is what's da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And then it's your job to land the plane at the end, right?
Yeah.
Say goodnight and whatever it is,
Okay.
right? And to keep everything even and steady the whole way. Like that's your job as the host. And some guys go out and they're like, oh, I'm going to bury, I'm going to tell a joke so hard that the next guy, it's like, well, that's an ego thing. That's not to make sure that the show's good. That's you.
You're not doing a set. You're just trying to set up the
and you
next
can tell
guy
jokes if you want, but the idea is that like, you don't go, oh, this is my 10-minute closer.
Yeah.
But having said all that too, is that like crowd work is not something that a host has to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The only thing that's kind of expected is like, hey, is anybody celebrating anything? Because sometimes people pay money to come out and they want a little, it's like, oh, so happy birthday, sir. Yeah, did you get anything good for your birthday? Oh, cool. Yeah. It's not your job to like make jokes, but as long as you address like, oh, happy birthday, give her a round of applause for her birthday. Yeah. You've done that. You don't have to try to make that funny.
Right.
The thing is, before you start doing crowd work as a comic, you should have enough time to fill that set so that if your crowd work isn't great, you've got jokes that will bring it back.
Yeah.
You need jokes that are
relying on
it.
Yeah.
And and it's not just have enough jokes to fill the time. You need to have an extra, in my opinion, 25% tried and true, not just material that you consider a joke, material that's tried and true that works every time, has worked in front of hundreds of crowds, so that you go, If I try to do crowd work for the first time and it doesn't work, I've got a AAA joke that I can do afterwards that'll bring them right back, and we're laughing again. We're having a good time. And he did way more crowd work than he was capable of doing, and he did not have enough get him back jokes
I guess
to recover from the shitty crowd work.
It's a good point that I guess he didn't have much of a backup, but like I said, I don't know which comic went on. It might have been all the way up until you went on, where that one table they worked at.
I don't remember.
No,
I just can't help. The look on your face is like, help me out. I'm like, I can't help.
It was one of the tables of 9 were co-workers at, was it a veterinarian's office? No, it was not veterinarian. It was the ear.
Oh, the audiologist?
Yeah, the audiologist, which I couldn't believe that the host went on, the MC went on and was talking to the table, and that didn't come up. That so he's trying to get a little something, like you said.
Ask the right
that's
questions.
Right. That's it. Yeah. Ask the right questions, but I just couldn't believe the crowd was just not giving back at all.
He's not ready.
He didn't have the backup for it. But you went out, forget the other comic who went out and was able to have this back and forth, but at least they were answering. That's why I felt so bad for this guy, that they weren't helping him say anything funny. He literally was pointing out about how terrible the crowd is.
It's tough because, like I said, as the host, did he get us up to 10,000 feet and then level it off and make it nice and safe?
No, I think you make a good point.
And it was the roughest.
Practice, right? You got to practice. It's just like going on.
Yeah, but you practice, like they said, there's going to be a first time that you do everything. Yeah. But on an amateur show, for people to have a good time, just like a comedy set, you got to open strong and close strong, which is why when I was running that Open Mic Mondays, I would make sure that my host was always a seasoned pro, and the feature act was always a seasoned pro. And the reason being is that if he was a pro host,
it'll help the other guys coming on, right?
He would have warmed up the crowd instead of going, the jokes are failing, my crowd work's failing. The crowd, what he did was he took all of the trust and the goodwill out of the crowd. Right. So all of that goodwill that would have been on all of the amateur sets that night, basically the expectation should have been like, I'll tell you what, it's like a movie, right? You watch a movie, in the first 10 minutes that shows you the killer killing someone or a hitman pulling off a quick mission and how awesome he is. James Bond, right? It always opens with a big action scene and then they can start slowly building again. But the idea is that it hooks you. It gave you something incredible that hooks you and you're like, oh, I'm going to get more of this. He had no hook. So they're already like, I'm already bored 15 minutes in.
So I'll give you that. But I do believe he was thrown into that one that day. Remember, he was not supposed to be the host. He was not supposed to be the MC, right? Sure. So if you, I don't know what the backstory is,
whether or not he intended to do it, but does not change that he wasn't ready and shouldn't have done
someone. And they called him, and it was last minute. So I give it to him that at least he tried. And like I said, I mean, you could admit that crowd was definitely not the best crowd for an amateur MC. Though.
If you went to a restaurant and someone who doesn't know how to cook was there and you go, yeah, but here's the thing, guys, your food was shit, but they just came in last minute. They don't know how to cook. Our regular cook wasn't here. We asked them to do it. Yeah. Does that change the result?
It doesn't change.
It changes the understanding.
But what's the other option? The restaurant's closed tonight because we don't have a guy cooking back there.
My point is that I'm not talking about whether or not he should have asked or whether or not he was supposed to be there. Yeah. My point is that if you are hosting, you should. Like, I'll put it this way. Okay. Back in the day, sometimes we, like the comics from my class, if you will, like around the same time that we all came up together. Yeah. Sometimes people would ask us, like, hey, can you do this? And we're like, no, I can't. I'm not ready to do that. Just because
you are,
because you know you're not ready.
Yeah.
And this is where it comes back to, as a host, your job is to put the show ahead of yourself. Mm-hmm. You do a good job so that the show can succeed. When you're the headliner, you're what they're all waiting for. You're the payoff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But when you're the host, so again, I'm not trashing him. If you got thrown into the role, sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is then I would blame. Again, I never heard anything about that, so that could be the case.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that there was another comic there who was more seasoned.
Yeah.
Actually, infinitely more seasoned, been doing it longer than I have.
Yeah.
That would have been the smart person to ask to be the host.
And okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the idea is that the person who said, "Oh yeah, I want the hosting thing," they wanted an opportunity they weren't ready for. So whether or not he was supposed to or not,
he wasn't supposed to, because I remember you even mentioned, because I was supposed to go on first. Remember? And I said, oh, at least there's not going to be someone who's just going to kill in front of me, and then I'm going to come on and
Yeah, I remember who it was supposed to. Oh, that's right. I remember who it was supposed to.
Yeah,
be.
that's what I mean. So he was the one, and you
But
had
he
confidence that
would've-
was a very funny guy.
But
and
he would have turned that crowd into a proper crowd.
But that's what I mean. So I say once again, to say the circumstances, I felt that crowd because, like I said,
But I'm saying can't blame the crowd. The crowd did not. If you were on a plane and you were all nervous, it's not your fault if the fucking turbulence is the whole way up, and it's not your fault for being a nervous, untrusting crowd.
Right, I guess so.
So that's what I'm trying to say is we can't blame the crowd.
It went off as a bad start, and maybe someone who was better
And the first act
fit
wasn't
for that
good.
role. And
The first act wasn't good, and then the seasoned comic who went on before you was doing something a little more political. Like he's a more intelligent, cerebral comic, in my opinion.
He told me,
that was not the crowd to maybe relate to that.
Yeah, it was a younger crowd, but I actually bumped into him in the washroom beforehand, just mentioning how nervous I was. It was my first time. And he goes, oh, don't worry, they'll be clamoring for a laugh after I'm done. I'm trying something new.
Oh, well.
So he's trying something new. Right?
Comics say that all the time. We've all got false humility and whatever.
I'm going to fucking... a little self-deprecating. But yeah, so I thought right away, and he even pointed out about the political jokes that weren't hitting, right? The taxes or whatever.
So that's the thing. So like
really
he can wear
me be motivated.
But he should have been able to, like, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
For him, he's like, I got to get this new joke out. Yeah. So whether the crowd seems good or not, like, you know, like, again, this is all stuff that's sort of inside shop talk that you and I can go into more. But all I'm saying is that I'm defending the crowd a little bit because if it was a real host, he would have got them laughing. He would have asked the right questions if he had decided to do crowd work, and he would have engaged them. Crowd work is something to engage the crowd. If they're all quiet or whatever, then you're like, okay, I'm going to start waking you up by talking to you specifically. So what I'm saying is that, and then the first act really wasn't good. You know, takes time. Maybe it's all new shit, but the point is that after 25 minutes of them really not getting anything, no shit, you'd be fucking terrified going like, this crowd sucks. But I'm just saying there's a lot of engineering that made it go that way.
And I think it's also a different perspective of you doing it for 15 years plus, and then me at that point never trying it for the first time and feeling that energy. And I remember you even pointing it out was not helping my anxiety going into that, was the fact that you're like, you could have seen this 1,000 times. Me, I've been to comedy clubs a handful of times, and it's always been a good vibe. I've always loved it. And this was not a good vibe, and it had to be not a good vibe the night I was trying my first time.
Yeah. Right? And it was, and I spoke to it because when you were like, well, when you went on, you got them talking and they were, I'm like, again, that's the difference between someone who knows how to talk to a crowd and someone who's just like, I think this is what I've seen before.
But you have to admit that a lot of your, and I mean, there was one other guy who went on after me and before you.
Yeah, I remember the guy you're talking about.
And he was addressing the crowd of not being good as
well. And he was being very dirty and filthy, which
he was
kind
of coming off as like a tough guy kind of thing, right? And I felt that you kind of address the crowd in the same way. So I'm not to say that everyone was going, this crowd sucks or whatever.
Yeah, no, for me it was like, what do you guys do? Why do you look so unhappy?
Yeah, that's
right.
It. Yeah,
and then it's just like
crossed and like, what's going on?
This and that. So it's just like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right. Like, and it was just having, like, again, for me when I'm hosting, the rule in my head is you don't ask a question that you wouldn't ask at like a dinner party or a house party or a get together, right? You're not going to go, hey, we got any Leafs fans here?
Yeah.
You know, like who would sit at a dinner table and go, hey, anybody here from out of town?
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm like, that makes no sense to me because it doesn't feel natural.
Have them warm up to you.
And when everybody else is just as nervous as you, because I don't want to get singled out or whatever, you ask a nebulous or general question to anyone. No one wants to be the one to answer. It's the classroom. Like, does anyone know the answer to this? Anybody? And there's that one kid with their fucking hand up. Well, that's the drunk chick who's like, I'm gonna yell out after everything. But the idea is most people are like, no, don't call on me. So you have to pick the person you're talking to because now there's no choice. How do you guys all know each other? Well, that's 7 people at a table. Who's been asked? Hey, sir, da 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 da. And how do you know all these people? right? Because I've picked the person that is now the one responsible for answering. And if they don't answer me, I go, I'm talking to you. Like, that wasn't a hard question. I go, I will grind this show to a halt until you answer me.
Yeah. And actually, you know what's funny was the last little thing I did on my set was asking some guy to yell, "You suck," right?
Yeah.
I picked the guy who was actually engaging. So right away, I wasn't going to pick anyone new. I was like, I know this guy's going to love to join in on the act. So I picked him to do so, right?
Yep.
And I think that was the thing, was like, I'm looking around the room. I'm not going to ask that person. This guy has got his arm, right? You see the people were just not vibing the way I was imagining it would. So, but
once it was over, were you happy with
the feeling of going on? Where no joke, things were getting white.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna just collapse right then and there. But once it was done, it was great. One, I got a good reaction when I said it was my first time. That was a nice feeling. It was a big, long round of applause and all that. You know, obviously, I wish I had a little more laughter. Like I said, I saw some smiles out there, which was nice. But right away, I was like, yeah, no, that was, and hopefully, like I said it to the buddy in the washroom, I just wish this was like my 5th time going on, because I feel
eventually it will be.
I was gonna just crack those nerves where I can get on and not like deer in the head, move the mic stand, right? Like completely. Didn't even know you didn't see the sign on the floor says stand here. I'm like, no fucking way. I was just holding in the fucking piss in my pants, you know? Like,
a lot of guys don't do this, but it is something that some guys do. And if it makes you feel better, do it. Is when you get to a venue, you be like, can I go look at the stage, whatever. Like sometimes you can get in before everyone's seated. Go look at the stage. Say, like, is there a clock? Is there a space where I'll see a light? Like,
I also thought I was going to be upstairs. I was excited to be on that stage upstairs. I didn't even know. I didn't know
there's a second one downstairs when they have a smaller audience.
No, it makes 100%. But like when you mentioned why you stand here is because of the pillars. And I was like, shit.
There's a lot that goes into like a show. There's so many reasons a show can fail that have nothing to do with the comics.
Yeah.
It's lighting, sound, sight lines, you know, whether the staff is being loud when they're taking orders. Like, there's a million things that can go wrong.
Right.
Yeah, eventually it will be like nothing. I still get nervous sometimes before shows. Depends. Like, if I look at the show and it's quiet, like crowd like that, I'll still get nervous. They're not liking anybody, right? Let's say that everyone who's going up ahead of me is a fucking pro. I'm like, they all know what they're doing and they're still not giving them anything.
Right.
Like, shows can go bad and I still get nervous. And I tell everybody that stand up, like when you're still nervous and everything like that, it's like getting on a roller coaster. You know, I get scared on roller coasters. The worst part is the fucking climb.
The build.
When you're going up the fucking thing, waiting for that first drop, you're getting higher and higher. You're getting closer and closer to that moment. Yeah. And you're like, why the fuck did I do this? Why the fuck did I do this? I don't have to do this. And then as soon as that first drop happens, it's always just fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wow, it's fucking exciting, exhilarating. It only lasts like 60 seconds. Yeah. But that first climb, and that's the pacing around, whether I'm doing a theater show behind the curtain or whatever, pacing around, fuck, backstage, green room, whatever, just fucking, and sometimes you'll even, like, it happens now where I'm like, I'm nervous. I just want to get up on stage and the host is like, I'm going to bring you right up. And you're like, great. And then I'm like pacing around. He's like, anyway, so he does a bit. I'm like, fuck, I don't know this bit. I don't know when it ends. I'm like, I'm just like, fuck, like, bring me up. All right, guys, this next guy coming up. I'm like, okay, it's happening. All right, next guy coming up. Somebody, Bill, you might have heard him, right? You and you remember your freaking chiropractic business, you breaking blah, blah, blah. You know, well, this guy likes to crack it up too, but I'm like, what do you just fucking bring me up? What are you doing?
The damn number.
Just say my fucking name, right? But I'm not even throwing it at that comic, right? Because sometimes they just take too long in the intro or whatever, but it's just like, just let me get the fuck up there because the nerves are high. Yeah. Because again, sometimes the crowd's great, sometimes they're not, sometimes I feel unprepared. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get scared. I'm not afraid to talk in front of people.
Yeah.
The fear now is, are they going to enjoy my jokes?
Yeah.
I saw this crowd was tight. They didn't seem to like this and that. Sometimes a comic you've never worked with before, he goes up and he does a big 5-minute joke about the exact same subject that you were planning on doing a joke.
Yeah.
And a professional will eliminate that joke from his act.
Yeah.
Right, which is why you need more time than you're supposed to do, so that I go, well, he just did a big long sleep apnea joke, so there's my 9-minute sleep apnea joke out the fucking window. Some guys go, hey, so and so was talking about it, and then do a joke that's almost identical, and you're like, well, that's not going to land.
You have enough material to
exactly. And that's also another reason why you watch the show. You don't just go hang out somewhere else and then go up and be like, what the fuck happened there? Why you guys like? And then they'll do crowd work, and they'll be like, how long you guys been together? And the whole crowd laughs, and it's like, what? It's like they've already been talked to. Everybody already knows, but you, because you were outside smoking a joint. Not you, Mark, but you were outside smoking a joint and you were treating it like a game and just waiting for your turn to go up. It's like if you were watching, again, when you're new, right? Once you've been doing it long enough and you know, you're like, first off, most pros want to be in the room when the show starts anyways, just to get an idea of what the crowd's like. So they're going to see the host doing crowd work if he's doing crowd work. But also after a while, you know the guys that you're working with enough, you know their acts, you know their sort of style. Then yeah, if you want to go downstairs and have a cigarette or go pace around in the parking lot and go over something in your head or whatever, or make an adjustment, like fine. But the new guys like just go up, I'm just going to do whatever I want no matter what. Like you see a lot of those issues, but I'm telling you that you're always going to, well, maybe not, but I still get nervous. Not every single time. And in fact, the times that I'm not nervous ahead of time, I tend to do worse.
Right.
Because I'm too comfortable. Whereas you could take that nervous energy
and use it.
And use it on stage. And then and everybody calls it like, you know, even I've been sick times where I get on stage, it's all gone. The adrenaline forces it out. I remember Pete Johansson called it Dr. Comedy because you get on stage and it's just like you're fucking gone. I'll tell you a story sometime. I think I've told my audience before, but it's too long to tell now. We have more shit to go over before. But I was sick to my stomach and I got on stage. I did my 15 minutes hosting. I came right off stage in the green room and fucking threw up everywhere. Like it was literally like I got it together enough, like horrific food poisoning. Not like, oh, I feel a little. It was like I was like laying on the couch moaning before the show, and I 60 seconds before the show started. You know, they were already going to replace me. 60 seconds before, I'm like, no, I'm doing my job. I was in Montreal. Like, say my name. I go, don't put him on. Say my name. He's like, all right. It said my name, and I went up. And then I blah, 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 fucking, you know, I got one more guy on. I wasn't able to finish the show. I got halfway through it. And then just Jimmy Cassidy did the last intro for me. But it was like, but everyone was like, holy shit. Like, can't believe he did. And it was like, you never would have known he was sick. And then I came off and just fucking everything.
In the spotlight. You're like,
but it was the adrenaline.
The show must go on. That's exactly.
But, and that's the thing too, is even nervous, you get on stage and it kind of just, you might still be nervous on stage when you're new. But a lot of it is just, you get to a point where you know what you're doing, you know how to adjust, that, and the other.
Well, like going on how nervous I was, like to the point of almost passing out, was once I got on there and I was in front of the crowd and had the mic in my hand, all I can say is just do what you rehearse, do what you practice, get to the end. Hopefully you get a few laughs, but you have this time slot. They're going to flash the light at 1 minute. Just get it's 6 minutes of your life, get it over with. And that was my mentality once I eventually got on stage. But, you know, I wanted to be like, now you have to listen to me, you know, like here I am, you have to listen to the words.
And you got through it. You'll get stronger. Sometime I'll play you my first set, which I'll have to not be in the room for. I can't listen to a recent set that was good. I just hate the sound of my voice.
It was hard for me to put on I had to fast forward some parts where like, I
have my audio tracks from Just for Laughs records in my iTunes library, and the second I hear one start, I fucking skip it.
It's hard.
Yeah, I can't listen to myself. I'm very judgmental and hard on myself. Well, congratulations to you, dude. I'm happy for you.
No, I'm thankful that you helped me, because that would have been a lot harder with just doing it by myself. So.
Well, we'll have you back at some point once you've done more shows, and we can do a little update. I'm going to chug on a little bit because I do have a hard stop coming up relatively soon.
For sure.
We might continue afterwards, but I'm going to jump to some, I'm going to just real quick bang through my fucking work week. I had to do 2 road days for the day job, the old Founders Original. Speaking of which, shout out, happy birthday to Andre. Andre is the guy who makes all of our cocktails, co-owner of the company. Super cool dude. Andre's birthday is today, Wednesday. And so, shout out to him. I had to go to Kingston. And
Isn't it Tuesday?
Today is Tuesday, Mark, but the episode comes out on Wednesday.
Gotcha. That's how it works, eh?
Yeah. So it's
sorry for
right
ruining
here.
The illusion.
No, I tell them when necessary, and I guess when it's necessary for you as well.
Thanks. First time.
Yeah. It's all good. Wait a second, but today's that's not Wayne's basement. But anyways, so I had to go to do a whole day in Kingston. And when I do road days,
families from Kingston.
I had to run around. There was a brand new store opening. One of the stores was basically getting a renovation. They've been operating out of a trailer.
Okay,
like almost like a portable.
Yeah, it sounds like Kingston.
But it wasn't as big as like a classroom portable. It was literally like just a big fucking tractor trailer store. So they were operating out of that. They finally got back into their store. Shout out to Nick and his team. They were super cool. It was not a grand opening. So everyone's like, oh, you got to go to the openings. So I went, and then turns out they're like, oh no, our grand opening's happening in January. So there was just like the DM, a few district people there, the people who were part of the renos, whatever.
Yeah.
They were there very briefly. There wasn't no fanfare, whatever. They were just kind of like, hey, welcome back inside. But the staff was super cool. We did an impromptu tasting. They enjoyed some stuff, got some new stuff in there. That was fun. I did go to this place called the New Mary Market, which was a convenience store, independent convenience store, and they had our tequila cocktail box there. However, they did not have our Paloma and our Bourbon Sour, which are like our core products, our mainstays, whatever. Yeah. They had the Cutwater versions of them.
Oh,
U.S. company.
Oh,
they had their Paloma and their whiskey sour, and I was like, there was like a little Asian couple. Older Asian couple.
You could take
them. And I could take them. But my issue was they didn't really understand me, but I was like, I gave them one of our Palomas, one of our Bourbon Sours, one of my sell sheets. I was like, in your fridge, you have these two guys, the Cutwater. And I go, I'm going to buy these. So I bought one of each, the Paloma and the Bourbon Sour.
Gotcha.
And I said, I want you to take those home and these home, and you try them against each other.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not just telling you, go try one of your own, because I know a lot of store owners are cheap. There's not a lot of margin on it. So it's like, I'm not going to take one of my own things and cost myself to $6 to do you a favor. So I'm like, I paid for these.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it.
So here you go. I bought them from you. You take them home and you try them. And I go, if you still think that those Cutwater ones belong on your shelf after trying these, I'll leave you alone. But I go, ours are better and they sell more than the LCBO. And honestly, I got to tell you, like, gun to my head, odds are I don't think that they would. I think that they probably just put theirs back on the shelf and make extra money and never do anything with mine.
Drink. You don't
but
know,
but I can tell you right now, if they did taste them, night and day difference, hands down, they'd sell out of the Cutwater and bring ours in.
Yeah.
So
that's still good marketing.
That was that. Yeah, and I've never done that before. I've never done that. But go like, look, these guys are here. Let me buy it out. I want you to taste compare. So I was like, I'll give it a try. It cost me $10. They were like $3.99 each plus tax. I was like, Jesus Christ. Didn't charge the company $1 because I'm a good bitch. I also went to the Havana Castle. I'm a big fan of my buddy Naz's cigar place. While I was in Brockville, I was like, oh, there's a Havana Castle here, and I drove all the way to Brockville on Friday without bringing a cigar to smoke on the way home. So I'm like, I'm gonna need one. So picked up a shtick there. I also stopped in to the Prescott LCBO, smaller stores. Prescott. Shout out to Curtis and Krista, the manager and the RTD person there. They have all of our stuff. They're great supporters, and they say that our shit does well. So I'm like, hey, thank you very much. And then finally, I went to this other spot in Kingston called the Campus One Stop. It's a convenience store.
Okay.
The owners are very nice. I've met the owner, Steve, and I can't remember the other brother's name who's not there as much. But Steve is super, super nice. When I walked in the door, he was talking. I didn't see the person he was talking to. I just saw the back of him. It was like long gray hair, whatever it is. And I was like, okay. And he was chatting with somebody. So I'm like, I'm not going to bother him. Yeah. So I just went in. First thing I did was the way it works is we can't see what's ordered at convenience stores. So if I go visit a store and I leave them a sell sheet and samples, I won't know if they bought anything until I come back again another time and go, oh, it's on the shelf now. They brought it in.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or, hey, did you bring it in? And if they're like, yes, we brought it in. It's how did it sell? Well, it didn't sell. Like, it very rarely happens. Very rarely would I not see it there and they go, oh, we brought it in, but we don't have it anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay. So I just remember I was chatting with his staff and they were like, yeah, I looked around the store. Apparently this store does a shitload of volume because they're right at campus.
Yeah.
So people come, I was just watching, they're like, I think they said they do something like $30,000 to $40,000 of liquor sales in a convenience store in a month. He may have even said a week.
Right.
He may have even said a week, but I don't want to over exaggerate it. Yeah. But even for a convenience store to do $40,000 in just alcohol sales in a month is crazy. Yeah. So I chatted with him. I went out to the car to get some samples, whatever, for his staff because I was chatting with them. And when I came back in, I saw who he was talking to. And he was talking to Rob Baker. I don't know if you know who that is. Rob Baker is the guitarist for the Tragically Hip.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh shit, I saw him. And just on my way by, I said, hey, sorry to interrupt. Loved the documentary. I watched the No Dress Rehearsal documentary on Prime, which everyone should watch. It's amazing. But I was just like, I'm like, oh my God. I go, dude, that's love the doc. Thank you. Sorry for interruption. He's like, no, it was good. He's like, hey, he was a really nice guy, right? Steve's a really nice guy. Yeah. So later when I was chatting with Steve, he's like, oh yeah, Rob and I have been friends since we were little, and he's just around here all the time. He's super. He goes, he just told me he just came back from like a Gordon Lightfoot auction of things, whatever. Da. But it was nice chatting with him, and he was like, your product, what was your product? And I go, Founders Days. He goes, I told you I was going to bring that in, didn't I? I go, yeah. And not get like accused. I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I apologize. I did say I would do it. He goes, I promise I will put it on the next door. And then he was just throughout the conversation, he was just still so apologetic. Like I go, dude, it's okay. Like, I don't want, I felt bad because I'm like, he was so apologetic. He seemed legitimately embarrassed. You get a lot of
in the moment.
No,
like,
no,
here's the
he
guy.
didn't. No, he confessed. Like, he wasn't like, oh, and did I bring it in? Like a lot of people play dumb. In fact, earlier that day, I had someone play dumb, and I hated it. I hate it was because it's disingenuous, right? I'm like, look, if you don't want to bring it in, that's fine. You're allowed to say you don't want to bring it in, you know? And even for him to go, he's like, I'm sorry, I forgot. And I'm like, look, I have goldfish brain. I forget things. But he's like, I'm bringing it. I go, it's okay. He's like, no, I'm sorry. I had a thing.
It's hard to say it to someone's face. You know,
I was just like,
with an email or on the phone, but when someone's standing right there, you make
and I wasn't like, you have to bring it in. I wasn't like, when are you going to bring it in? How much are you going to bring? None of that stuff. I'm just like, hey, just bring it in, give it a chance. I think it'll do very well for you, you know? But so he was very, very apologetic. I was like, dude, it's okay. It's all right. I forget things too. I just came to check. If you haven't brought it in, that's I understand.
It's your
I just think that I think
it's
he's like, no, I told you I would, and I will. He goes, and my store, it doesn't even matter. He goes, that's when he told me, he goes, we sell so much booze. We sell X amount of booze. He's like, whatever I bring in will sell. I'm sorry I didn't bring it in. I will definitely have it on the next order. And I was like, no problem. He was just so kind and sincere. He confessed that, I said I was gonna bring it and I didn't, did I? You know, and I'm very sorry. I apologize. And that I was like, you know, you can't ask for more than that. It's not even what I would have wanted. Yeah. But, you know, somebody else earlier that day, I did. I don't think I'll go back to them again because they've kind of now multiple times said that they were going to do something and didn't. Yeah. And they got a whole evening's free event out of me. Right. Because, if it was a vote
you're
thing
being used for this stuff.
Well, that's the thing too, right? It's like, we're having an event where we want to have, all of our mess people in. They're all going to vote on what they want to bring into the bar this year.
Oh, okay.
It's like, great. So and when whatever they vote for comes in. So we did it. Our shit dominated. I watched them all vote for our stuff. Yeah. They were like, I voted for it already, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I already got a feeling that they were full of shit because when we were planning for it and all the the communications ahead of time were like, oh yeah, if, whatever you bring in, it's all a vote. It's all a vote. That's all that matters. Whatever they vote for. So yeah, you guys come in, bring in your best stuff. And, and then when I was there, the voting was a round table that had a bunch of scrap paper on it and a bucket that was not guarded or monitored or anything. Okay. And people could just go up anytime they want, write the thing down and throw it in the bucket. So you could vote for the same thing dozens of times. There was no way to be like, hey, everyone gets one of these and then you pick your top 3 and then we'll amalgamate or just write something down, throw it in a bucket. So I'm like, this isn't that important. This isn't definitely not strict. This is definitely not a guideline for how they're going to run their business. This is a formality because they just wanted a bunch of liquor vendors to show up, give away free booze to their people. It's an event that they could sell tickets to or something like that. Yeah. And then they're still just going to take whatever giant conglomerate is paying to be in the bar. Yeah. So I popped into that after I did the event. I go, now everything she said beforehand. And then at the end of the night, I was like, everyone voted for her. She's like, yeah. So what we do now is we just take this information back to the committee and they kind of decide if they want it. I'm like, exactly. Exactly.
We'll you made it behind this made it
strict. And then, she's like, they made it strict. Like, no, it's about the votes and that's it. That doesn't matter to them. They whatever the votes. Yeah. Then it was like, well, here are clearly the votes. And she knew clearly the votes were ours. Yeah. And she's like, oh, well, we got to take it back to them because they're going to make the final decision, if anything. So we'll take this information to them and see if they want to bring it in. I'm like, oh, but that's not really how you got me to be here, is it? You told me if we get the votes, we're in. Anyways, so that was
like the votes are.
That was like August, I think, or September. Okay, and then I just popped in, last week, and I went to the bar. I was like, hey, do you guys have this? They're like, no, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, here, try it. And they're like, oh, this is great. This is amazing. Can we get this? I go, yep. Yeah, you can. I go, in fact, it won all the votes at the thing. And then she came down. They're like, oh, Christine's upstairs. Do you want to go talk to her? I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, she's like, oh, hey, oh yeah, that's right. Like, we got signed up now, right? Like, we can order it direct. I go, no. So I go, you were signed up. You were signed up months and months before the event. It's at the LCBO where you buy anywhere. I'm like, you don't care. It's cool. Yeah. She's like, yeah, we can talk. I'm like, no, it's all right. Like, I was respectful. I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I get it. She's like, yeah, well, we're going to bring this in the new year. And I'm like, it's seasonal. And I explained that to you. It's seasonal. It's gone in the new year. So it's not something you're going to bring in the new year. There you go. But it's all bullshit. It's all exactly. Yeah. Bullshit. And I knew it was ahead of time.
Interesting.
I walked in there expecting to not find it there. Yeah. And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Yeah. Did not happen. Yeah. It was just not there. So like I said, Steve was very much like, I said I was going to do it and I didn't. I promise I will put on this. I go, it's okay. Like, I go, no problem. Like, just, he's like, no, I'm so, and a few times he goes, I apologize for not bringing it in already. I'm sorry.
Do you know if he's ordered any yet? Or
I can't see it. I have to go back and
one
visit.
that you can't see. You have to
All
actually check it.
convenience and grocery,
yeah,
I cannot
gotcha.
see. I
Gotcha.
go in
Yeah.
on a subsequent trip. If
Gotcha.
it's there,
Okay.
then I'm like, oh,
Oh,
they
yeah.
brought it in.
Well, then hopefully he's
Yeah.
genuine, and you see it
Yeah,
next time.
I mean, I just know that we would do really well at the campus because our stuff says, even the staff were like,
Mm.
oh, I've seen my roommates, because they had young college students working there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, I've seen my roommates bring these in. Like,
Yeah.
I've never tried it. I go, well,
Yeah,
there you go. And
exactly.
that's why I
Yeah,
bought them
yeah.
samples.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
Well,
my trip there. A little cool getting to meet Rob Baker. Shout out Steve at the Campus One Stop. If you guys are in Kingston and you want to support a local business that, just nice people, and you might see fucking Rob Baker from the Tragically Hip. I've lived in Canada my entire life. The only time I've ever seen the Hip in person is on stage at a show. Never bumped into them, but
Yeah,
how cool
well,
is that, right? You can just walk into them at a thing. So yeah, there's that. And then, all right, there was a bit of a gap there, gang. I had to pause the thing, and then the batteries died, and all sorts of things happened. But Mark is still here. He's on his phone now. Lost his interest. Okay. So let me talk about a few things here. So for starters, I did wish Andre a happy birthday. I did give him credit, right? Did I
yes,
remember to
you
do
brought
that?
that up. Yeah. Remember,
Okay.
I thought it was to correct you. It's actually Tuesday.
Yes, that's right. That's probably right where we're near where we were at. And I think the last thing that I talked about before we stopped was I mentioned just a few things that I did over the course of the week. I'm looking at my notes here, gang. Sorry, it's been like almost an hour since I had to hit pause there. I'm watching 2 shows right now, and I haven't even, since they started, I have episodes that are missing those.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like talking about this week's episode.
Stranger Things.
Just sort of no, because that's not being released by the week. It's being released in chunks right now. Did you watch?
I watched.
Did you watch any of it?
I think I watched about 3 of the first season, and we just
Oh, really?
continue. Yeah.
Honestly, like right now, there's not a lot that has my interest.
No.
So I'm watching it out of like lack of options.
I saw somewhere it was like voted greatest TV show to.
I would highly disagree with that personally.
Yeah.
Definitely not like it's entertaining, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you talk about the best movies of all time, the Marvel movies aren't there, but I find them highly entertaining.
Yeah.
They're
I know
certainly not
disgusted.
the best.
They were on the like top 100 list. I mean, yeah, but from who?
I think
top 100 is from someone's opinion on movies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's one episode where I don't even remember what season it is, but they're singing the theme from Neverending Story, the whole song.
Oh, really?
The whole theme.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so yeah, and I'm like, yeah, sure, it's nostalgic from when I was a
brings you
kid.
back. Yeah,
But I'm like, but this has nothing to do with the story. This has nothing. This is just
filler.
Full. It's exactly what it
yeah.
is. And I'm like, and there's lots of that in it.
Okay.
Where they're like, oh yeah, but it's got this. I guess this season, I did watch all of season 5 Stranger Things, so I can talk about some of it.
Yeah.
Like I can talk about all that and not go, did I mention the part? Whereas like the show I was talking about is I just watched on Sunday night, I watched It, Welcome to Derry.
Oh yeah, they made
6.
a series out of that.
Yeah, I'm finding it. So now they're obviously, because in the book, it doesn't talk too much about all of the events prior to the Losers Club.
Leading up to it.
But it does talk about some of them.
Right.
Because it's like one of those books where I read The Green Mile.
Yeah.
And The Green Mile wasn't so much about John Coffey as it was about being the guys that worked on the Green Mile.
Right.
So all the characters that at one point are all together in the prison, that wasn't the case. They were all in, some of them did overlap, but the story was more about stories. Like, yes, yeah. But in the movie, it's predominantly about John Coffey, and he is the climax and the crescendo of the story.
Yeah.
But it was more about all of these guys' different stories and everything like that. And it was done better. And I think that the It book, first off, I don't know if I talked about this last week or if I was just talking on the phone. I talked to so many people, I can't remember what I said here and what I said in conversation.
Okay, yeah.
But the book It does not happen kids then adults.
Right.
It happens concurrently. Like the book starts when they're being called back to Derry. Right. And then and each person sort of being spoken to, Mike, you'll have a flashback to a memory that they had when they were little. And so them coming back, like it's basically both things are happening at the exact simultaneously. Yeah. So it was like, and if I'm not mistaken, because I've read it, I've read the book.
Yeah. You're a big Stephen King fan. You're set over there as a.
Oh, well, that's just the Dark Tower series. Yeah. I used to have way more of his books, but I did just buy his On Writing. Yeah. His book on writing. Okay. And this is literally called On Writing. Yeah. So I'm excited to read that. I have not read that. But the book ends, like the ending of the book, or the last part of the book, is like how the kids beat him as a kid and how they're attacking him now as adults.
Okay.
Right? So it's not like, oh, we beat him and then 27 years later. It's like they're happening in the book. It's happening concurrently. So you've got, you know, the adult part and then the part, remembering the kid part, and then the adult part, and then remembering the kid part. And,
okay.
You know what I mean? So like when Mike calls Bill remembers the drain thing with Georgie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the what started it and all that shit. And then they kind of go back from there. It's a really good book. There's an incredibly weird fucking thing that happens at the end that never made it
into the films.
Or the minis, and nor should it.
Yeah.
And I would just say Google insanely controversial it thing or whatever.
Well, we actually had this discussion in the car yesterday. We were talking about it. I was traumatized as a kid because my older brothers had me watch the original
with Tim Curry.
And then my son was traumatized because he went on a haunted house ride that I don't know what my wife was thinking. To this day, like I said yesterday, we still blame her for his fear of clowns because he saw the picture of it on the side of the ride, went in, it was horrific. He was curled up in a fetal position at our feet the entire ride. And I'm just looking at my wife going like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? So he always and he must have been like 4. So he always thinks about like clowns as the most horrific thing he's ever seen. So I took it upon myself to check out the new It. So this was years ago when he was 4.
2017, I think.
So it was about 8 years ago. And I checked out the new version. I skipped over a lot of the dialogue. And
really?
Oh my God, with the computer graphics, it was the most horrific horror movie I've ever seen for the fact that it's children. And the kids were joking because I have the 12 and a 9-year-old, and they're joking like, "Oh, I'll be able to see this." And I said, "There is absolutely no way you'll be able to handle that movie."
You know what's funny? They do a lot of jump scares and scary stuff even in kids shows now. Like you'd be surprised what works. I've talked about this in other episodes, I think, and I've actually watched some series too, so I might bring them up at a later date. Again, I don't know what I've talked about in the podcast or what I haven't, but there's a really cool thing on Shudder called the 101 Scariest Movie Moments. Not scariest movies, but movie moments.
Yeah.
And what was cool about that is they have like all sorts of people from the industry. In fact, Andy Muschietti, who does the show and did the new It movies, the director of the new It movies, he's on there commenting about stuff, whatever. But the idea is like it was scary moments in a movie, not the movie itself.
The whole
right. So it's like I'm trying to think, like they'll do some stuff from early, like, you know, Dawn of the Dead stuff. Some of it gory, some of it not. But the idea was just that like what scared people, you know, in the 60s isn't the same thing that scares people now. Because, you know, having the idea of a clown that knows what scares you, you know, in the 80s when that book came out versus 2020 or 2017 when the movie's remade, you know, it's like, oh, the idea that this thing knows what scares you. It's like, well, how many things have been done like that since? It's like when you go back, you go, yeah, but that was the first thing. Like, I don't know the first movie that did this, but in An American Werewolf in London, everybody has had a scene that happens where they wake up from a dream. Right? Like something's horrible happening. Oh, it was just a nightmare. Right? But he wakes up in the hospital where he is. The nurse is like, "Oh, did you have a bad dream?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I got just the thing." And she goes to like open the blinds to let the light in. She opens the blinds and there's still one of those creatures from his nightmare that comes and starts killing her. Right? And he wakes up a second time and goes, "Holy shit." Like, exactly. Like, but just that idea that like all of us, you drop your guard because you just woke up from the scary thing. Okay, we're okay again. Like, but just tricks like that.
Was that on the list? Is that why you was that one that was
I don't think it was.
No,
but I used to do these top 5s where it's like, oh, this week again, just sometimes if there wasn't enough content from my actual week, it was like something come up. The top 5, I did top 5 types of movie jump scares. Okay. So one of the things that I talked about was how was the jump scare that happens at the crescendo of the music. Because you remember when you were watching like, you know, Jaws and stuff back then, it was like people knew, oh, the music's building up, like, and when the music would get to the crescendo was when the thing would pop out. But then people got wise to that. Right. So what would happen is the music would hit crescendo and nothing would happen. So it would give you this false sense of like, oh, we're okay. And then it became 3 or 4 seconds after the music stops is when the thing's going to pop out. Right. So I still blended them into one.
Right.
But then I did like the classic, the guys in the car after investigating a house. And I even said how the camera angle is literally in the passenger footwell pointed up at him. So there's lots of room of their face and the window space. And then just someone comes out, bang, bang, bang. Hey, you forgot your, you know what I mean? But just show up and it scares you.
Yeah, it comes up enough in the movie.
The phone, like I think that one of the things on the list was like the phone ringing or a cat jumping out of whatever. And it's like, it's always like the phone or the cat. But then one of the other ones was like the classic mirror or fridge door close, right? Nothing there. Open the fridge and then close it. And then, oh my God. But I'm like, those are like, I ranked them and like, what do I think? Whatever. But I know that wake up from a dream and then it happened again. Like that's been done again since. But I don't know. And please, guys, feel free, contact at onemanpodcast.com. If someone can think of an earlier example of that, I think that one was 1981 or 1982. That American Werewolf in London came out. So it's like, that's the earliest one that I can think of, but I haven't seen all the classic horror movies or whatever. But scariest 101 scariest moments, that was a really cool thing on Shudder. 101 scariest movie moments.
Okay.
And it's really cool. It's a bunch of people in the horror industry talking about, a lot of the people that worked on those particular things or whatever it is. Right. So I would say that the people have gotten used to being scared. I'll give you an example. Your kids may be stronger than you think for some of the newer things. Here's why. When I was young, my mom, who she wouldn't let my brother and I watch something like Silence of the Lambs or whatever.
Okay.
Right? Now everyone was talking about it, whatever.
Psychological.
Yeah. Silence of the Lambs. She's like, because there's a lot of murder and body deformation and cannibalism. It's a lot of things or whatever. In fact, we were never really allowed to watch horror movies at all as a kid because we would have nightmares. Again, go to my dad's place and see killer clowns or lose a week of sleep because he would only have us for the night.
Pet Sematary.
You see, we didn't see that when we were young.
Visiting family in Kingston. That was hard.
Dude, Ernest Scared Stupid scared me as a kid.
We watched that recently at
I
Halloween
did just
with
rewatch
the kids,
it the other day,
and I love when they made movies like that. It was for kids, but it was still going to be scary. It's not.
I've watched a lot of movies that I liked as a kid. And then was like, I watched something and I'm like, oh, that's really cheesy.
Yeah.
Ernest's character is cheesy, but I watch it and I have mad respect for Jim Varney because he really leans into the role. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a goofy, weird character. Yeah. But I just feel like but it is done right.
Yeah, he nails it.
He nailed there's a lot of people who will commit to a stupid character, but the character's very stupid. Yeah. Ernest's stuff for the time period was good. By the way,
he's so lovable.
I'm sure I mentioned on the podcast, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the trolls in Ernest Scared Stupid were repurposed clowns from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I could tell by the shape of one of your guys up there that that's what he reminded me of.
It's quite literally the exact mask. Yeah. Just painted brown and made into trolls.
Because I thought about that one clown that goes, why does that shape of that clown look familiar?
The Chiodo brothers, who are the ones who did the Killer Clowns, they didn't just do the prosthetics that was their movie. But they have since gone on. They did Ernest Scared Stupid, so they just repurposed the clown shit that they already had.
That's fun,
but I don't know if not every single troll that was in it was one of the clowns.
No.
But some of them you could definitely see. I'm like, that was the fucking clown. They also years later went on to make all the puppets for Team America World Police.
Oh, okay.
So just like they had all that servo,
technical,
back in the early 80s, they were doing machinery inside fucking heads to make things scary. But the point is that was a kid's movie, and that scared us because we were never allowed to watch any scary stuff.
See, that's what I was saying with my
everything
son
was terrifying.
Was got to get you used to horror movies, because what you don't realize in horror movies, it's scary as shit, but the good guy usually always wins. You got to get to the end, and it feels great to get it over with. The bad guys.
A lot of the classics. What you got to do is you got to get them on stuff like, and then this would be a great top 5 list. So again, if anybody wants to send it in, but like the top 5 entry level horrors. So what I was saying was when we were little, we weren't allowed to watch anything. My cousin Tim watched horror movies all the time. So we would go visit my grandparents. He lived with them. He'd go, hey guys, come in and see this. And he would get me and my brother to come in at the some fucking deformed skeletal corpse, throwing a guy out a window, horrifying. And we were never allowed to watch any of that stuff. And I remember this is back in the day when we had video stores where you could walk into the horror section, turn the back of every box, look at some pictures, nightmare fuel.
Exactly.
No context as to what's going on in the movie, just creatures that was scary. Like I remember how much I was afraid of Chucky until years later when I finally watched it. I go,
Actually
oh, he's
watch it.
funny.
Yeah.
I go, Chucky's funny. He's not.
Yeah.
It's, and I've talked about this before.
It's like
where
what
it's like,
Freddy Krueger became too.
well,
It was-
Freddy
it
and
was
Chucky talk.
hilarious.
Jason and Michael Myers don't.
Yeah.
And I said that it's scarier when something doesn't talk because you have no idea what its motive is. You can't reason with it.
Yeah.
I even said how the Gamork, which was clearly modeled after the wolf in fucking American Werewolf in London, because it only came out a few years later.
Yeah.
The Gamork was terrifying most of the movie, but then when it's sitting there talking to Atreyu, it's not as scary because it's got thoughts and it's
speaking.
something that's more sentient than just this vicious animalistic killer.
Yeah.
So anyways, Jaws is a great starter movie because it is scary. You don't see it. It's not gory.
We actually was thinking about that one. We put it on for a bit, but it's also very slow. So kids nowadays are it's hard to keep their interest. And I'm proud that my kids can sit through full movies, but that one particularly is a very slow build.
I would imagine that with their ages now, they probably would be able to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe in the past.
Yeah.
But you also let them know, like, hey guys, if you want to see scary movies, I need to know that you're going to be okay with certain things. So we're gonna put you guys through horror movie training school. I think Jaws is a good example. To me, I'm like something like Ernest Scared Stupid. Like if they weren't scared by the those same faces scared me as a kid.
Yeah.
When they were clowns, and it didn't matter that Killer Clowns is a hokey 80 funny comedy campy movie. As a kid, I just saw the fucking the clowns, heard them, scared the shit out of me.
Well, my son was really big into the Five Nights at Freddy's game, and if you ever played this game, and
it's very freaky.
I've heard about it. I didn't. It's all just jump scares. It's the whole point of the game is if you don't do this right, the thing jumps out at you at a moment, right? And I literally had a moment where my hair shut up like the back of a cat once. But we went and saw the movie because he was really good, and that was a good one to start him off because it's not really aimed at an adult audience.
Right.
The previews prior to the movie scared him way more than the movie. He almost wanted to walk out.
How old is he now?
He's 12. So we saw it, I think last we're supposed to be going on Friday to see the second movie right now.
Okay.
But that's where the It conversation started in the car, was he wants to go see Five Nights at Freddy. I actually enjoyed it, even though it's not quite aimed at me. I thought the actual plot line was pretty good. But that one was, like I said, a good starter movie. Like they kind of lean you into this genre that doesn't have to make you shit your pants.
Right.
It's still entertaining and kiddie somewhat, but it was a good one.
There's a Nicolas Cage movie that's basically the exact same thing that came out first called like Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, okay.
It may as well be called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, he's got a lot of like corny horror films.
But I actually found that it wasn't that bad, and he has no lines in the movie.
Okay.
Not a single word.
Yeah.
To my recollection.
Really?
His character does not speak.
Huh.
So everybody else in the movie does. He just doesn't speak.
Well, depending on what you think of him, that might be good or bad.
But it's the same idea. It's his job to be the caretaker of this place overnight, and the animatronics come
alive. Yeah.
It may as well be called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
And my understanding of the narrative that they gave the movie is the same narrative in this.
And that's been around longer than I thought.
Who the fuck is this? Sorry
like for how old the game is, and right away when it was such a big craze, and I've seen like all the products in stores and stuff, I was like, "What is this?" And then I was like, "Hey, good for the guy who made an independent game that was just a jump scare that kids happen to fall in love with."
Yeah, make sure you look at the right. Make sure you look at the right screen at the right time so that the thing isn't coming
exactly,
at you.
Or else
and lock the right door because it's coming from that. Yeah, it's a neat little there's a lot of these neat little games that just have enough replay value that people are like, oh, it gets big, and then like anything, if it's big enough, like, well, can we make money off of the story?
Huggy Wuggy, I forget what was the Poppy's Playtime. That was another one the kids loved, which was like a horror one. You're going around a toy factory and getting chased by this big animal with big sharp teeth or whatever. But
legit horror.
Yeah.
I would say Jaws is a good one because
slowly work them up to it. Yeah.
Right. And it does have its moments, right? Like you hear the fucking dun 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 dun. When, swim, Johnny, swim. And then the dock just washes up on shore. The shark was never pulling it kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and the opening scene, that actually, when I watched, because both my kids watched the opening scene of Jaws, that's when they're like, I never want to go swimming. Just from the opening scene. Well, but then the gap in between after the
marketing tagline, the marketing tagline for the second Jaws movie was great. Mm-hmm. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just, you gotta love it. It's terrifying. I don't like fucking going to swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. No, there's too many things that'll get
Dude, my imagination is so crazy. I think there's sharks in in-ground pools.
you. Yeah.
I don't believe it,
Anything that you
But
can-
as soon as
can't
I'm in
see
the
that-
water and I can't really see everything's in there,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, but there's like in Florida, a fucking croc will crawl under your fence and get in the water. Just because there was nothing in it when you got in
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's going to stay
Well,
that way.
Even lakes here, there's nothing that's really going to get you. I always think a snapping turtle is going to lop off my toes. And I'm like, no, they're going to.
Dude, I've rubbed
freak
my
out.
foot on sharp rocks and it hurt.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't care enough.
I want.
Unless
I want
it's
a
like,
pool.
unless
Yeah,
it's an
exactly.
indoor pool
Yeah.
in a hotel and I don't want to swim in that because people piss in those.
Yeah.
I just don't love swimming enough. Like
Nope.
I want to participate with everybody else. Like if we went to Florida, we I went in the ocean with everybody there.
Yeah.
The water was kind of clear enough. Like that's the thing is like the nice southern water is clear.
Yeah.
The water we get is like
Okay.
dark and murky and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. The
yeah,
sand's all mixed up. with
I
it,
don't like putting myself in situations that
Yeah.
I'm not prepared for.
Yeah.
And if I don't know what the fuck is in there,
Yeah.
right?
You don't want
Like again, I could just cut my foot on a rock.
Yeah.
Or there's fish or other goofy things in there. Like
yeah.
I have a shower.
Things.
Well, I don't fucking know. Oh,
Yeah.
dogfish.
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
Yeah.
Well, it's
watch out
kind of
for
like a
those.
shark or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Then I'm not going in the fucking water until I know exactly where they.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care.
That's not your bag.
I
yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my imagination's insane. The amount of things horror movies have planted in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I don't
Yeah,
like
exactly.
walking down fucking streets at night. If I take a piss at the side of the road while I'm driving home from a gig or
Yeah.
a route,
That's the moment.
On the
serial
side of the road,
killer
in the
gets it,
dark,
yeah.
and it's a full moon, I'm like, while I'm pissing, a werewolf is going to run out of the
This is
woods,
the moment.
grab me and drag me. I go,
Yeah.
the scene and the cinematography is already in my head.
Yeah.
It shows me, it shows my back, it
yeah.
shows the fucking point of view thing in the woods just
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
yeah,
me.
yeah.
And there's me, all calm and confident, just
Yeah.
taking a piss. I don't give a I'll piss into the highway so that my fucking, I'm not exposed to the woods or someone just
Yeah.
grabs me and pulls me in the
Yeah.
ditch. Again, overactive
Yeah.
imagination. Logically, it's fine. But I was like, dude, I have driven stints of driving where I've psyched myself out where I'm like, I don't even want to look in the rearview mirror because I'm like, some ghost image is going to pop up from the back seat or whatever. I'm like,
Right.
not looking that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Crank the music, nothing back there. Like it's so crazy. It doesn't have, it's not like this
Yeah.
happens all the time, but it's just like, you can really, especially when you have an anxious mind,
Yeah.
you can psych yourself the fuck out for a lot of different things. And I'm very good at doing that.
Well, I used to be like that. It's kind of like what I did on my stand up there about the moment where I really thought my girlfriend at the time was going to bite my head off.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about anything like that for 10 years. I thought it was like silly. But recently we were at a cottage not too long ago and we're in a golf cart and the lights go out. So I have my son holding my phone with the light on and we're going through and we go the wrong way and we go to this dead end in the middle of the forest and my son goes, Dad, I'm actually a little scared and I feel what you were feeling. And I'm usually like, I'm not scared of this. I'm like, yeah, me too. Like I was just like crumbled. And I was like, this is a very scary moment. If something popped out
Yeah.
right now, we're done for.
I think Todd
I'm
Glass
chucking
had a
you in
joke
front of it. Yeah.
where it's like if his kid's like, oh, Dad, there's a monster under the bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, we'll call the police.
Okay.
And he's like, wait, what? He's like, well, look, if you think there's a monster under the bed, we'll call the police. And if you don't, then we don't do anything. It's like, so what do you think we should do?
Yeah, 'cause I'm not
And he's
gonna-
like, all right, call the police, like, like, right? Or like,
Dad,
there's a
you're
killer.
not checking under there?
There's a
No.
killer in there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no, well, why the fuck? No.
Yeah.
If there's a killer, then let's call the
Yeah,
police.
yeah.
Or it's not there. Like, what do
Yeah.
you want to?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not checking it, dude. It's like the same as like, the fucking curtains drawn in the bathroom. People who
Oh,
close their shower curtain when nobody's in there
Yeah.
should be murdered. Do you do that?
I close it all the time. Yeah.
You close it. You're
I
not in the
close it all
shower,
Yeah.
and you close
I
the
just
shower.
I don't want. Oh, you mean when not using
Nobody's
the shower.
in the shower. Instead of having it brushed over the side, you go into your bathroom and you have to open the shower curtain to step into an empty tub no one's using and then close it again.
Yes, because
You leave your shower curtain closed at all times.
Yes.
Why?
Because because I love my wife. If they're folded together, that's when you have soap scum build up more. So you open it
Do
wide.
you
so
know
it
how
airs
much
out.
one of those things costs?
Yeah, and I have.
It's $10. You buy a new one every year.
Not,
$10.
no,
Do you know how much sleep you
less than
lose?
that when you buy it at the dollar store, they're meant to be thrown out. So it is literally $2. But that's my wife. She's picking.
So
like that,
do you
so-
know how much it costs you to walk into a bathroom with the shower and just go, someone could be hiding back?
Yeah, that's
And I'm just like, I'm not quietly quietly getting ready for bed or come.
Yeah.
I've just psyched my
So
fucking
that-
self up.
there's
And I
someone
know
waiting
there's
to
nobody
go-
back there.
Yeah.
But you can manifest so much in your brain.
Son's mind, and we tell him to get over it at 12, and it doesn't matter the age. Is you have that thing like at 12 now, we'll be like, okay, go up and brush your teeth, and they'll be like, okay, but you guys are coming upstairs too. We're like, you're 12 years old. Turn on the lights. Everything. No one's gonna. But that, like your mindset, he's thinking that there's gonna be a murder.
I'm like, I'll
up
tell you
there.
right now, the person in the movie didn't think that there was anybody in there.
Yeah, exactly.
They had the
yeah.
confidence you want me to have, and look where that got
Yeah,
them.
that's it. Yeah.
So
Well, talking about
but
horror
it's-
movies, I watched Predator with my son not too long ago, probably a year or two ago. So he was like 10, 11. And I never really thought that as a horror movie. I thought it was a pretty awesome action movie, right?
Yep.
But it was the moment that he took, and we watched the whole entire movie before he takes his mask off.
yeah,
That's when I realized, oh, it is a horror movie. And my son's like, I can't look
the whole
at this
see in the
guy's-
dark and doing that purr growl thing.
yeah, it's freaky, yeah.
Like-
But once he gets his mask off and you see the monster that it is the Predator, I was like, oh my God, it is that bad. But
Dude, at no point,
yeah,
it's not like he takes his mask off and then starts biting people.
no, exactly.
He literally has changed nothing in his
Yeah.
approach. You just see how ugly he is.
yeah, but he
You
looks
one ugly
one
motherfucker.
But he's a cool looking alien until
Sure.
he takes his mask off, and then it goes, oh shit, it is a horror movie.
Dude, I
right?
thought it chasing them with infrared and doing that weird growl,
yeah,
it being invisible. I'm like, that's all that shit's scary
Yeah, it
too.
is scary.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
action and it's
yeah,
it's definitely lives up to the name. Did you know that I never again like all of these movies?
yeah,
Again, growing up with a single mom,
yeah.
we're not watching a lot of the stuff that the dad would want to watch, right? So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were seeing more of the stuff my mom would want to watch. My mom
Yeah.
wasn't against anything like that. Like she's the one who let us watch Jaws and The Exorcist. And again, this was all later.
Oh, The Exorcist.
But
yeah.
the thing was, like I was alluding to this earlier, was that when we were young, we weren't allowed to watch the stuff. So the only pieces I got were external in the video store, what my cousin Tim would flash at me.
yeah.
Once in a while, spending one night with my dad starting a
Mm.
movie like American Werewolf in London or Killer Clowns from Outer
Yeah,
Space,
starting
right?
is the key.
Terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
So we weren't really exposed to much scary stuff.
yeah.
And it was all just imagination. I've
Yeah,
been
you
a very
gotta
imaginative person my whole life.
Desensitized to it. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, you never got
So
that. Yeah.
when I don't remember what year it came out, but like again, my mom was starting to let us watch some scarier
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, and you're growing up, so
But
that's-
and I couldn't tell you what it was. Maybe Jaws would be probably one of the first ones. Maybe that's why it comes to mind for me as being an entry level one.
Yeah.
But we started watching the X-Files, and the X-Files
Oh,
was like
great.
government stuff
Yeah,
and
yeah.
little episodic
yeah.
whatever. Like the show Goosebumps scared me at times. And I don't think there was. Oh, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I was just
Scared
about to say
me as a
there was
kid.
couple
That one
episodes
first.
that were freaky.
So we
yeah.
saw stuff like that. But again, I'd cover my fucking eyes, and
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
wouldn't make it through all of them.
Yeah,
But watching them now, you're like, there's nothing scary about them. But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were scary. Again, when you have no frame of reference,
yeah.
it was scary.
Tales
so-
from the Crypt. Was
So
another
Tales from
one.
the Crypt,
Yeah,
again, watching later, we didn't have HBO. Love
Yeah.
that show.
yeah.
I love any anthology, episodic, every episode's different kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, different director.
And so we
or
watched
different
the-
good actors.
Hell yeah. We watched the X-Files and we started watching that.
Yeah.
And as we watched more of the show,
Yeah,
there'd be an episode where like, oh, is this a werewolf attacking people in this thing? Like you didn't always get a resolution either. You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh, that was such a great show.
There
I
was one
actually
episode
should
of the
revisit that.
X-Files where they think they're trying to track down the Loch Ness Monster and then they find out, oh, it's an alligator or something.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the episode, a fucking dinosaur neck comes out of the water, swims a
Out
little
of
bit,
the
and then
back.
goes back. And they're like, so you're telling us it really is like, that's not the vibe of the show.
Yeah,
It was just, we all remember going, oh, that's dumb. Like it's better when it's
yeah,
left
yeah.
to mystery.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Like
guess
it's
so,
like it's like, hey, it could still be out there. But you just showed us the audience that thing's there.
yeah, that is
you
the
know what I
real
mean?
thing.
It's
Yeah,
there.
Yeah. You got to leave it to
But-
the imagination.
But the whole point with the X-Files was they were
Scooby-Doo.
kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Right? Then they had episodes like Eugene Toombs, the one who built the nest and was taking people's livers and they would stretch. Remember his fingerprints were stretched?
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
And that was the same guy who played Percy Wetmore in The Green Mile.
Okay.
Don't know the actor's name.
Yeah.
But the idea was like after he came back again in another episode. And then there was that
Right.
worm creature thing that was living in the sewers. Like
Right.
the episodes were freaky, but they weren't like, we weren't having nightmares over them. And a lot of
Yeah.
time it was like resolved and
Yeah.
things like that. So it wasn't until after we had watched the X-Files for a season or two that my mom was like, there's been subjects like Silence of the Lambs, like killers,
Yeah,
murderers,
exactly. It's
cannibalism,
just gonna be a
like
2-hour story instead of the you know.
so. And she's like, so I was okay with you guys watching it, and we weren't really fucked up by it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's when I kind of started consuming more and more horror, and I still fucking watch horror movies, through my fingers at times or with one eye closed, because I'm high strung.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, once the demon comes out and then it's chasing you, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But when it pops out, I fucking jump because
I hate jump scares, man.
That's that. Well, that's the thing is I'm high strung, so exactly.
That's it.
And I'm usually dialed into whatever I'm doing. So like I don't know. But so jump scares do work on me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, once the creature's there and it's chasing them around and whatever, like, okay, I see it. I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But where is it?
Yeah.
Is usually like, where the fuck is it? It's going to pop out. It's somewhere around here. Where the fuck, like it's the obviously not knowing.
Well, and that was, me and my son watched Predator 2. And it's nothing like Predator 1 because you know what the fucking Predator is.
I've actually had no interest in watching. Oh, I was going to say, for years as a kid, I would look at the cover of that and I never knew it was Arnold. Even though I know Schwarzenegger from my whole life growing up, whatever. And things like Terminator 2 have scary moments in them.
Yeah. We watched Terminator 2 is one of the best films. We watched it. And what I loved about watching it with a kid was I never realized, because I've seen it a billion times, I never realized how they directed it at the start to make you think. Because the first movie, Arnold was the bad guy.
Right.
So right at the start, my son thought the good guy was the cop. And the guy in the leather coat beat the shit out of the bikers. That's what he was going for. But I've just always known that, of course, Arnie's going to be the hero, right? So watching it with my son, he's on the edge of his seat. And then the point in the mall.
When they're in the hallway and he pulls up, get down.
It was fantastic. But I've never seen the first movie.
Still.
I've seen parts when it was on the movie network. I just felt it was so slow I couldn't even get into it. And then after the second movie was garbage. Everything from there I couldn't stand it. So as one,
and honestly, Dark Fate is trash too.
Is it? Yeah, I wasn't even.
Well, because it's like Dark Fate, the one where James Cameron was producer and they brought back Linda Hamilton.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be 1, 2, Dark Fate. Everything else doesn't exist. Okay. So just Dark Fates. We're like, great. We're going to get rid of all these weird, goofy storylines, whatever. Salvation isn't half bad for the action.
Okay.
The one with Christian Bale and
that was
Anton Yelchin.
Yeah. Okay,
that one was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think it's Claire Danes in that one or somebody.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Story wise, meh.
Yeah.
But no, even Dark Fate was like, I don't know. I think that there's set movies that you can get them into. I think it works.
Yeah.
The second one, Chapter 2, is so stupid.
I might have to do the original It because when I watched the remake of It, I was blown away at children being ripped apart, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Well,
it's too realistic.
So did you?
At least in the original It, the blood looks like paint. You know what I mean? Like it's
I've talked ad nauseum before about how I think. There's a difference between like scary and gore.
Yeah.
I also don't like torture.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Hostel
because
was one I never even considered.
I've seen it and it's upsetting at times, but there's lots of movies that just have something in them needlessly, and I'm like, this doesn't further the plot. This doesn't like. I'm sure I've talked about it on the podcast before, but just here since we're talking about it, is like in the book. To me, and I think most people, the most upsetting part is Georgie in the drain.
Yes, it is.
Because as a plot device, it tells you this thing kills indiscriminately.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it will kill a kid.
Yeah.
And that's all that needs to happen for you to know that.
Yeah.
He kills more kids, but that particular sweet, innocent Georgie scene,
just
getting killed, you're like, so that's how you know, right? Like it's the message it's sending you is, this thing kills kids.
It is absolutely.
And now you know that. And it'll chase kids in the book and it'll go and other kids will go missing and things like that.
Yeah.
But the visceral, terrifying, it's like, it's not even just taking bad kids. Like it's, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That only happened the one time in the book.
Right.
Then this new one, there's like several scenes where a kid wanders off, a nice, sweet, innocent kid wanders off and then gets killed again because they're like, oh, that scene was so intense. We got to add more of that.
Yeah, that's what.
And you're like, not necessary, because that wasn't the point. Is that like, it goes off this, like it in the book kills anybody. The idea is it's the embodiment of consumption is what they call it.
Okay.
So the idea is its job is to consume, and it consumes fear as well. it refers to it as salting the meat. So when you're scared, it's like you're salting the meat. So it needs to scare you before it'll eat you.
Yeah.
And the main reason that it goes after children is children are easier to scare.
Yeah. Okay.
That's really all it is. In the book,
Gotcha.
it kills adults.
Yeah,
in fact, in the second movie, it kills one of an adult.
Yeah.
But again, that situation that happened to them. And again, in that situation, if it was a Tales from the Crypt thing. So for anyone who's seen it, spoiler alert, it's the opening scene of the second movie and has very little to do with the plot. Basically, it's in the movie, it's like, oh, it's back. Whereas in the movie, it's back. In the book, it was just another example of someone who was gotten by it, right?
Yeah.
So it's two gay guys at a fair back in the day.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's two gay guys at a fair now.
Right.
Like 2023 or whenever the fuck the movie came out.
Okay.
Whereas in the book, it was like early 90s. So still not super acceptable.
No, exactly.
Or welcoming. It's not like of course it should have been acceptable. It just wasn't a safe place to be openly gay in a small town America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, these two guys, someone makes fun of them, and one of them, stands up, slings the shit talking back, right? Like, why don't you guys fucking go away, leave us alone? You know what I mean? And then they leave the fair. They get encountered. Anyways, gives a shit. Sorry, I don't know why they just, you say a sentence, you're like, what was wrong with that? Anyways,
could have rolled with it.
They get totally cornered by these guys, attacked.
Yeah.
And, and then one of them beat up so bad, it throws him off the bridge into the river.
Right.
You know what I mean? The other guy goes, gets up and tries to go down looking for him, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when he sees so if this was Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
These three assholes who beat them up would go, celebrating high five. And then Pennywise would kill one of them.
Yeah.
Because in Tales from the Crypt and a lot of those things, the bad guys always get theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But in the book, the poor gay guy who gets beat up and thrown over the bridge into the water, washing up on shore, gets fucking eaten by Pennywise because he's been brutalized. He's probably in fear and done. Right. So it's like there is, because, and I think this is one of the reasons that people like Stephen King stuff. And again, I really feel like I talked about this in the podcast, but I only recorded one last week, and I don't think it was this recently, was what I really liked about Stephen King's writing was that he wrote things the way they kind of actually happen in the world.
Right.
Like in terms of the natural order.
Yeah.
Like
all the time that the bad guy
a predator
gets it,
in the fucking wild will eat something else's babies.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't go, no, that's their innocent, leave them alone.
I'm going to eat the bad thing.
I'm going to eat the adult. I'll eat the mother, but I'm not going to, no, it's a kid. Right?
Yeah.
Like these weird societal things where someone's like, like these guys will go to prison for murder, but be like, yo, they'll fucking touch a kid. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I only raped it. You murdered somebody. Like, they're both horrific. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pointing out how stupid it is that like people are, I got this moral code.
Yeah,
moral you're code murdering people.
After killing.
Right? No, it's totally fine to kill somebody for over drugs, but God for like, I again, it's all bad. That's the
Dexter's
thing, right?
Popular. That's
right, but it's completely
Chopper
stupid
or whatever. Have you seen that movie, Chopper?
No.
About the Australian guy who, he's
but
killing,
the whole
drug dealers.
But the whole point is that, yes, if there was this creature out there that just eats, it will not go, oh, are you a good person or are you a bad person? In a lot of stories, we need that to feel good.
Yeah.
In a horror movie, if the chick is a super slut, she's a whore, fucks the whole football team, and this guy's a prick, jock, douchebag, whatever, you're like, great, you're making me dislike them so that when they get killed, I won't be as upset as the
Have you ever
sweet
seen
person.
the show, like, is it 1,000 Way to Die? That's the movie.
I've
You've heard of that?
Yeah.
If you ever watch that show, it's all reenactments of real weird ways people have died.
Yeah.
They make every single person that dies some kind of fucking asshole. The gym teacher,
they change the story so you don't feel horrible.
Yeah. And I feel like, well, if the story isn't about an asshole all the time, and then the person that actually who died that way, but no, the guy was a real nice guy. He just happened to trip and die in this, but you made him a giant asshole.
I don't even know why they have to give the narrative. This person was stepping out of a truck, got hit by a steamroller.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Right. And then they have these like fucking 3D CGI forensics of the bones shattering.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're like, I don't know.
The person felt
on Spike TV.
Killed.
Yeah. They were. Yeah. It's stupid. So I think I like that about Stephen King's writing is that what, like, again, he's writing about shit that doesn't exist, creatures and stuff.
Yeah.
But his stories and stuff land harder. And one of the reasons he was so popular as a writer is that the reality around what was happening was more like real life than something like, oh, only the bad guys got punished and the innocent people always made it out. Because you look how like back then when the first It series came out, right? The book and the miniseries, we didn't have 6,000 fucking true crime podcasts and 1,000 documentaries on killers and serial killers and how we found them, whatever it is. Like, we know the world is full of so many innocent people that got killed and murdered that didn't deserve it, right? So it's like being able to, and I think that's what makes his stories so scary too, is that they seem to be particularly grounded in the reality of things, because in the movies, it only happens to the bad guys. In his stories, it could happen to you. It could happen to anybody. It could happen to the nicest person, because
look at Stand By Me, which is way more of a realistic movie. That was a weird thing when, like, I remember as a kid when they found the body. Yeah. It was so realistic. It wasn't a bad person. It was another kid their age, and it kind of, like you mentioned, it made it more real that this shit happened.
And they even talk about it, about how, like, we didn't know what we were expecting to see, but it's just a kid in a ditch.
And they anonymously say where he is instead of trying to take the glory, because it was not as exciting as they were hoping, as they were looking for him, right?
I read the book. The book was called The Body.
The Body, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, and it was an interesting book, but again, it was, it was more about kind of them, like it's like a lot of those stories, only instead of being two people that get closer on a journey, it's all of them getting closer on the journey to this thing. Yeah. And they were actually attacked by Ace Merrill. I think it was Kiefer Sutherland who played him in them, but he's a recurring character in some of Stephen King's stories. Ace Merrill. Yeah. He's in Needful Things and some other things.
That one, you cheap dime store hood. That was
I haven't seen that movie in years.
That was, Will Wheaton says that to him.
Yeah. I remember.
Just you, Ace. Just you.
So, I'm going to pull us out of the horror.
Yeah, I was about to say, we were going to like, what? Yeah, introductory.
No, this is what happens on my podcast, because it's fun. We talk about multiple things. Yeah. So I think, this was all me saying Welcome to Derry was what I watched.
We're talking about introduction to horror.
It's some of the things in the show were referenced in the book, maybe some of the smaller events, but they had taken a shitload of creative liberties, added a bunch of stuff that isn't there.
I was about to say, you're a pretty big super fan with Stephen King, so I mean,
I haven't read in a long time, and I want to start reading again. In fact, a lot of the stuff I started reading was more like psychology and real life stuff, more educational things than fiction, but I enjoyed it. In fact, what I've been doing is I've been using my Audible credits to get Stephen King stories. So I'm listening to Carrie right now. I'm starting at the beginning. Okay. Starting at the beginning, and I'm going through it. Right, like I'm just going to listen to everything in his publication order. Yeah. And stuff that I've read, I'll skip. But but because I drive so much, I know I don't have time to read. I'm like, I'm going to listen to it because I have lots of long ass drives. So it's like, this is perfect.
That's exactly. It's made for that. Yeah.
Right. And so Welcome to Derry. This was episode 6. I don't know what to say about it. It's entertaining, but I don't find it like it's an HBO show. HBO shows are supposed to be like really good.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean?
They
don't hold anything back. Right?
And I'm just kind of like, this is meh.
Yeah.
I'm watching Stranger.
It to be a series. I was surprised with that. I thought.
Yeah, like, I mean, listen, there's like enough
sequels.
There's enough pre-Losers Club that you could do a series.
Okay.
But I just find it's almost like it's trying too hard to tell more story than just give us what we want, which is like, show us fucking Pennywise, right? The only thing is they can't kill him because we know that's later, right? So it's almost like and sometimes a story like this was something else I used to say about reading Stephen King's books. And it's in a lot of horror books or stories or whatever, but it was something I noticed about Stephen King stuff because they've adapted so many of his stories into movies.
Right.
Is in his books, right? Like The Mist, they just wake up one day and there's this mist across the lake. Don't know what it is, whatever. As they get ready to go into town to get groceries later, him and his son, they notice the mist is on the other side of the lake now. It's like it's approaching their side, right? So it's getting closer. Okay. They get to the grocery store, they're there for a while, and all of a sudden the mist, and the whole grocery store gets covered in the mist, and that's it. And there's creatures in it and all this other stuff. Yeah. There's no, where did it come from? Why is it happening? Yeah. It's just, well, and again, rooted in reality. If something like that happened, you don't get to know why it's here, what's going on. You're just in a situation that you're dealing with, right? But in the movies, some soldier will show up. We were up on the hill playing with the interdimensional gateway. It's like, so here's our exposition on why it's happening.
It was Maximum Overdrive. That was one where they kind of explained it in a way where it was like it was some sort of alien radiation.
Yeah, and you don't get that in the book. And the book was a short story, I think, in like Night Shift or Skeleton Crew.
And they even mentioned that Stephen King didn't have an explanation for it. Just these things went wild.
But that's exactly it.
In the movie, they had to give an explanation of why.
And with Pennywise, it's like he's in Derry, but it's like he came from outer space, right? Or some other dimension. Like I don't even think it says space. It's from another dimension. Oh, okay. And it represents consumption. Right. And then there's Matura, who is this like turtle that in the book it's like vomited up the universe. Matura represents creation. Yeah. So created, and he's the counterpart to Pennywise consumption, right? Okay. So creating, destroying.
And this was all in the Stephen King. Okay.
Now it's not a big long explanation on it, but it's just the idea is that, and the idea is that it's like the turtle's kind of watching over the kids. So there's a little bit of added protection, but not complete protection. They're still very vulnerable. It's just, there's certain things there, but you'll see it in the movies. There'll be like a Lego turtle that drops, or they have a little turtle on the charm brush. There's little nods to because it doesn't get any play in the
because that might be a little out there for
there's other out there shit too. Yeah. But the idea is like they don't really go into like what it's created. It's like almost like these are like the two beginning alpha and omega creatures from the universe. Okay. So the idea is this thing's out there. Pennywise is just out there. He's consumption. Right. There's no, why does he do this? Why does he do that? The why is he a clown? Because clowns are approachable for kids. So he can lure them in, but he changes into all sorts of different things that he knows they're afraid of. Yeah. But again,
with leprosy, that got me in the new one. Jeez.
Yeah. I don't think that was in the book, but for a moment in the movie, when it turns into a mummy, one of the kids, because again, in the book happened way earlier. So their youth wasn't in the 90s. It was in like the 70s or the 60s or whatever.
Yeah, those horror films would have been.
The movie The Mummy, in the book, the kid Ben is walking home from the theater after seeing The Mummy. Yeah. And is crossing this quiet bridge over a creek to the woods area home. Yeah. And all of a sudden this mummy starts fucking chasing him, right? And he's terrified. And he puts some distance between it. He turns around. He says like the mummy all of a sudden had these like orange balls on its stomach, and he kept running, turns back, and it's like, it's a clown now. It's not, So it was like, it always knew how to, it would churn into the shit that was, again, that was the whole point.
The whole point is,
right?
You're specifically afraid of.
Exactly. And it wasn't so much in the movie, like in the movie where it's like, oh, he's got them cornered and he scares them and just leaves them alone. Yeah. Right. It's like they would get away in the fucking book, right? It was trying to kill them in that moment, but they would get away, not just he scared them and then left them alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay. So, but again, there's all sorts of different events over the years. All of these are spoken about in the book. They're covering some of them in the show. Now the show is trying to explain, way back in this, and then the tribe that lived in the area, and then this, and it's
a history down that road.
Yeah, it's a lot of like filling in gaps. Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, it's like in the book, it's just, this thing is there. And it's like, it's an interdimensional being, but that's kind of, you're not, like it's there. And then we learn it's like
more explanation.
It wants to scare you so it can eat you, but it's like, well, how did it go there? Why is it here? And why is it there? And it's like in the book, it's like Derry's just this place where people just don't give a fuck. Yeah. So it was easy. The reason it stays there is because it's easier to kill kids and stuff because nobody seems to really give a fuck. Whereas if it went somewhere else, it would get attention and people would snuff it out or whatever, or whatever they would do. But the whole idea is that it's not like in the show. Eventually, they start to explain why it's contained. It's been contained to Derry because of the tribe that did blah blah. Like I won't spoil, but you're like, okay, so now right, and now the military is there and they want to capture it because they're going to turn it into a weapon and drop it on their enemy. And you're like, first off, the idea's been done before, always the military, whatever. So they're adding stuff that really just boring, you know what I mean? Like none of it was, none of it was in the original thing or whatever. So I'm just kind of like, okay, you're padding your runtime to just get more viewership or whatever it is.
That's a huge factor.
And the payoffs,
the money that's coming in.
Well, the scares and the stuff in each episode are few and far between, and they don't pay off particularly well. Yeah. So you don't see Pennywise, spoiler alert. Yeah. You do not see Pennywise until the 5th episode.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So it's all just kids kind of scared and what's going on, and like, so-and-so's missing, and then a jump scare for some other thing.
With me, like my wife doesn't watch much horror, so I watch a lot of stuff with her. But other than that, it's like I said, I usually try to lean towards comedy, just something humorous.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to wrap it up quickly. I do apologize, because let me pause real quick. I gotta check in with Mark just real quick here. One sec. Hey gang, sorry about that. I stole Mark. This was all very impromptu. I was going to call him, but I'm glad I had him here because I think we got some good content out of it, and hopefully just some stuff that's entertaining you guys. I'm gonna speed through. You are welcome to jump in if you have any questions or anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but I'm going to try to get him out of here sooner rather than later. So that corporate show I did on Saturday, guys, I'm just going to say it real quick. It was nice. It was nice to see Jim McNally and Mike LeBlanc, my two friends. Mike has co-hosted the podcast with me, and I really want to do a podcast with Jim McNally at one point. It was for an HVAC company. They were a good audience. They were actually really fun. I hosted, so I did a little bit of ball busting. I met some of the guys who were like apprentices. The staff loved them. You know, it was a fun show. There's not really much to say about it because it was kind of a short show. I think it was only like 45 minutes long or what have you. But it was a fun show. It was really weird because some of the young people that were there were like, you know, at one point Jim was on, he was talking to them and I was listening, but I don't think I was registering, because at one point I heard this young girl who was like 20 and she's like, oh, like knitting and crocheting are my things. Or sorry, knitting. And then she's like, I like to watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. I don't even know if she said, I like to watch Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. It was like, I like knitting, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. And I heard all this and I gave my brain a shake. I was like, did he just ask her like what she does with her grandmother? Like, does she spend, did I miss like just a little qualifier that explained why this person just listed off? I go, or is she fucking with them? Like the whole idea is like, oh yeah, like old people stuff. You're 60, haha, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, knitting. And it's like, no, that was her thing. And then someone else at the table, you know, Jim talked to them and it was like, what do you do? She's like, oh, I like to do crocheting. It's kind of my thing. It's just relaxing. And he's like, holy fuck, you're 90 to like these kids, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like these are the girlfriends of the guys that worked at the HVAC place. And then at one point he was talking to one of the other kids at the table. He's like, do you do knitting or crocheting or anything like that? And then they're like, no. And he's like, oh, you got to get on that. It's all the rage right now.
Yeah,
like
hipster.
You know,
it's got to be hipster. Like,
I don't know.
Like,
but it was funny. They were a fun crowd. I was glad to do it. And then I was very happy to come home and then get right back to doing all the work I fucking had to do this weekend. So that's that. Sorry guys, I just was like allude to it. I'm like last week, I'm doing a show. Hey, we're going to talk about that show I did. It was fun. But it was over and done real quick. And it was literally like, leave the house, get to the show, come back, get right back to work. I bought a couple things. I was going to talk about Stranger Things season 5, but I won't get super into it. But all I'll say is I did watch all 4 of the episodes that are available now. And it is the last season or final season for anyone who's interested. Right off the top, very first episode, I believe it was the very first episode, they immediately go back in time to one of the main characters, Will, and something from the very first season that happened to him. And then of course, immediately something happened to him that is now going to play a part in this last season, even though for 4 seasons straight, this has had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oh, but this thing that happened to him and now it's going to play a part. I kind of don't like that. Like a lot of people would watch and go, oh, okay. And I go, you didn't have an idea for this season. So you had to go back and plant something in that like, oh, this happened, but you didn't know about it.
Right.
It's like, all right. So, and then of course, at the end of the 4 episodes it's showing, it's like that thing will take effect.
We just
or maybe not take effect, but you know, be addressed. And you're like, yeah. So the big hook that's supposed to keep me to keep watching wasn't even a thing in the last, you know, season or whatever. But now it's, and it turns out that was the important thing all along. It's had more meaning on all of this than anything. So I
wonder how many people they got with that though. Like,
probably shitloads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now that.
No,
it's like, oh, that didn't like it's like, oh, we didn't know what happened. And even the reviewers, the fucking YouTube channels, like, oh wow, and we're finally getting to see more of what happened. It's like, dude, it didn't exist, right? Like I think there's a game that I was bitching about probably forever ago. I haven't finished it, but I played all of it. Uncharted.
Okay.
You ever played the Uncharted games?
I haven't played those.
And then it's like in the 4th game, it's like, oh, his brother. And you're like, oh. And then the first like hour of the game is you walking across rooftops and climbing the side of buildings like an Assassin's Creed with your brother. And they're just talking. It's just exposition. It's like you didn't have an idea for a story. So you had to insert a character that probably, if he was your inspiration for all the things you do and he's been good. And now all of a sudden you got to do this last job with him. It's like, yeah, I'm like, sorry, but that's too much. Like Yellow Jackets did that in season 3. Good show. But, well, 2 seasons of it were good. But in the 3rd season, all of a sudden she's got a lover that she had back when they were lost in the woods that in the 2 previous seasons where shit's happening, I'm thinking, who could have done this? Who could be the person that blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, the 3rd season, oh, we learned that they were a thing back there. And now that they're adults, she's coming back into her life. It's like, well, if she was around and she knew she was alive, all of that would have factored into other conversations. People are like, you analyze things, you critique too much. I'm like, no, if you're going to tell a story, if you're going to hook me and go, this has got a really good story, then it's got to be a really good story. And dramatic shows, you know, like here's the thing. If you're going to make a show about it, I want to watch it for the fucking scary shit. But instead, you're writing a bunch of stuff that didn't happen that you made up for the show that isn't really super engaging. And so far, it hasn't really been a vessel for more scare. The Yellow Jackets thing, it's like, you don't. I said this when I first started watching the series. I don't like watching series that are ongoing.
Right.
And what I mean by that is they're not done. Like it hasn't ended. Because the reason being is that if I get into it, I'm like, oh, it's good. But then it could fizzle out. There's a lot of HBO shows that ended bad. Game of Thrones. Everyone says that the ending was absolutely terrible. I didn't even love it.
I didn't get through that either. I saw the first season and it was fizzling out.
Yeah. And I got to be honest with you, I wasn't somebody who was particularly hooked by it either. I was like, oh, it's the greatest show. But even the people who loved it, season was shit. I didn't like the first season of The Last of Us. The audience has heard me talk about that more than anything else.
Have you ever seen
the second one was stupid. And all the people who loved the first one thought, oh, this one's stupid too. I'm like, well, there you go.
I just finished the 4th season of Only Murders in the Building.
No, I thought with Selena Gomez, I'm like, oh, is this going to be like a fucking Disney stupid?
I really love the banter between Martin Short and Steve Martin. That's what I watch the show for.
If it's a good show, then I'll watch it.
It's not.
Not?
The first 2 seasons were pretty good.
Yeah.
It gets so silly and ridiculous where it's points where because it's a murder mystery, obviously, where I'm like slapping my forehead going, this is the most ridiculous premise I've ever seen. And then the ending of this season,
is the whole season one murder, or is it a different murder every episode?
Every season. And I realize it's always 10 episodes. I believe we looked it up, but 10 episodes every season, different murder. And this one, I won't spoil it, but the ending of it was a character that was from the past, played by Tina Fey, who I love.
But that kind of spoils it. You're like, I won't tell you guys who it is, but here's the actor who plays them the entire season.
But anyways, like I say, it made me slap my forehead several times going, this is the most absurd thing. And I still like it. Paul Rudd's in it at a point. And he plays like Irish guy who is his stunt actor. That character is so cartoonish. Mm-hmm. I've watched so many of these episodes wanting the murder mystery to be very good. And I felt it was good first 2 seasons, but it just fizzled out. Now they're making money. And now I thought this is going to be the end of it. And it ends on the cliffhanger again. I'm like, when is this going to stop?
I think the term, I could be wrong, is the sunk cost.
Okay.
Syndrome or whatever. Yeah. And I actually was watching a YouTube video about books recently, and a lot of people, it was saying how like a lot of people will get a certain way into a book and be like, I'm not ever enjoying this. Yeah. But then they're like, but I've already read 100 pages. So it's like, I've already read this much. So they call it the sunk cost in the sense like, oh, I've already spent this much time.
Yeah.
I got to see it through.
Yeah.
And some people will do that with shows.
Yeah,
whereas I'm like, nope. Like I got 3 or 4 episodes into the 3rd season of Yellow Jackets. I go, nope. And it was exactly what I predicted before it started, which is like, if they're going to start making up new stuff, like the idea is it's a plane crashed in the woods. All these young cheerleaders or whatever the fuck they were. Sorry, soccer players. I apologize. Very sexist of me. And they have a bunch of young cupcakes. Well, they probably cheerleaders. No, they were. It was a young girls soccer team. Yeah. And then the fucked up shit they had to do to survive, and now it's present day, and it would seem as if what they did back then has now come home to roost. So it's kind of like the way that the It story goes: adult back to kids, adults back what happened then, adults back. You're getting everything concurrently, and the idea is, I'm like, oh, it's very fascinating, but they were only there for so long. Yeah. Right? So but then in the 3rd season, now it's, but then this happened, and they're stretching stuff, and that's affecting the modern day, because it's almost like they have no idea where they're going with it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're just making money. If people are liking it, they're going to have to continue.
Exactly. Right? Now, I'm really enjoying the show Severance without getting into it, but Ben Stiller's one of the creators of it. Yeah. And they asked him, do you know how this ends? And he said yes.
Yeah, and that's important.
He goes, that's the thing. Is yes, we know how it ends. Yeah. But he goes, we don't know exactly how it's going to get there. And I'm like, and I appreciate the honesty. So it's like, we're still figuring that part out. Yeah. But we do know how it ends. And I'm like, that's why I'm afraid to watch a show, because it's like, well, we're just going to keep stretching it as long as humanly possible. Yeah. Because eventually you start recycling the same bullshit and you start inventing stuff that was never part of your story. Like when you pitch the season in the first year, you don't even know if you're getting a second season. So when you're in season 7, you're like, oh, by the way, in the first season, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right now you're like,
trying
now
to
you're
dig
like,
yourself
well,
out of a hole.
yeah, we can't really talk about stuff now. We got to like,
Yeah.
let's link it back to an important event and say that this was and that's where I'm like, no. And as soon as they brought in a secret lover she had, who's now probably calling her in the modern day. No, you knew she survived too. And last season when everyone was like, but we were the only ones who knew. It's like, well, no, you've got that other person there that would have been there, that would have come to mind. But no, that wasn't something written into the plot last season. And you had to write it for season 3. Like, I hate that shit.
No, but you're right about like following the show because you want to see the end. And I did that with Only Murders last season. And I thought the ending was crap because the murder mystery, I just think fell apart. So when it happened again this season, it was a very much shame on me that I was there and I go, and this is garbage, but I got to see how this garbage ends.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, at the end of the day, if you're entertained while you're watching, it's fine.
Like I said, Martin Short, Steve Martin.
I'll keep watching it. Welcome to Derry. But if there's people out there that have a million other shows that they're enjoying and they're watching documentaries, whatever it is, I can't turn around and go, you should watch this.
Yeah.
It's so good. You should watch it. I watched Ted Lasso and I was like, holy shit, I didn't think I'd like it because I wasn't into soccer, but everyone says great things.
Yeah.
Very little to do with soccer. Great fucking show. Loved it. Would recommend it to everybody. Makes you feel great. Severance, I'd recommend to everybody in a heartbeat. One of the best shows I've watched in a very, very long time.
I've heard good things about that.
It's
but once again,
Mark, fucking believable.
Yeah, a lot of people are
unfucking believable.
It's just hard to commit to shows like that. Like I said, it's
only 2 seasons. There's 10 episodes a season. It's not that long.
Well, I just it has to be the same kind of wheelhouse for my wife to enjoy.
I would be very shocked if it's not designed for a type of people. I would just the idea that like if you like it's incredible. I can't. I'll talk about when I'm
okay.
But it's a great show. Yeah. But anyways, my point is Stranger Things starts off by like, oh, here's this thing you never knew happened. You're or like, and that's a lot of people go, oh wow. I'm telling you right now, when shit like that happens, the writers didn't know it. It's something they had to fabricate, and that always tells me that always tells me in a show you didn't know where we were going because you had to put that in. Whereas in a book and a movie, the whole story's in it. So you can pepper that in early, you can allude to it. And then when you go back to it later, you're like, oh, you're not just pulling random characters out of places and going, oh, here's how we make it all end in a big crescendo, because it was never like, oh, we have 5 seasons planned. You know what I mean? Because if they did, it wouldn't have been 5 years or 4 years since the last Stranger Things.
Right.
Because they would have just moved right on to the next. So it's kind of like, are we going to renew it? Are we going to renew it? Oh, okay. So now we'll end it and pretend like that was the plan the whole time. Yeah. Anyways, I don't like that horse shit. I like a story. And if you have a story to tell, I'd like to know that you know where it's going when you start writing it. And I'm even going to trash Stephen King for that because he started writing The Dark Tower in the 70s or whatever, or very early 80s and didn't finish the last one until well after 2000s. Today, Junior.
The movie Weapons, I haven't seen it.
It's good. But to me, it's a one-time watch because
there's
a
twist.
Well, once you know everything that's happening. I would not spoil it.
I just heard from the writer that he had this idea and he pretty much had the ending or something. I forget how he said it. But
it's very well told. It's very fascinating. It keeps you going, what the fuck? The whole movie. But the thing is, once you know, like when you get to the end and you learn. The whole movie, when you're watching it again, it's not like Fight Club. It's not like Fight Club where you're like, now that I know I get to go watch it again and kind of really enjoy all the subtlety and how it's been done. You know everything that's happening. So, I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be enjoyable. You'd probably, if you're going to watch it again, you're going to want to watch it with someone who hasn't seen it because you get to live vicariously through their reactions.
I was just surprised when I said with the director or writer or whatever, I think it was both, but it was just how it came about. It just seemed like I had a good idea, but I didn't have anything else to go with it. And then it came to mind and I pieced it together. And I remember doing the interview, well, you pieced it together very well. You know, she was saying that, but I just didn't like how he kind of like, I had this idea, put it away, came back, thrown it together. And now it's a very popular movie. I just thought it didn't seem like,
sometimes,
scenario,
well, the thing is, as long as when you look back at the story, you're like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Woo. Sorry. I'm like looking around for the pause button. I'm like, I'm going to fucking sneeze. Auphonic might take that right out. You guys may never even know that happened. I mean, the idea is though, is that when you look at the story, like it all makes sense. It was like, it was well done. That's the thing about, to me, is there's good movies and bad movies. And the thing is, you know, with the Marvel movies, you're like, it's a superhero movie, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. And you are suspending your disbelief when you watch a superhero movie. You're coming in to see good beat evil and excitement and action.
Universe. You're in a different universe.
When you go see a movie for its story, because you heard the story is good, and then the story's got a million holes in it and everything like that, it's harder to enjoy because you're like, but the whole point of this was that it was a good, well-written story. If it's full of holes, I'm sorry, a good, well-written story isn't full of holes. So it's not about being critical. It's, oh, well, here's the flaw. And I've seen so many things online, like funny little parodies of things that like literally one little thing that could have been easily changed was the whole reason that something didn't make sense. Right. And you're like, that was such an easy fix.
Well, I love Back to the Future, and I thought that was such a good trilogy front to back with it. But people rip it apart and find those little, well, why didn't
apparently
they just
a lot
do
of
this?
There's certain things about it. It's actually
Still
taught in
good,
film
though.
schools. The first one is taught in film schools as the perfect movie.
Oh, I thought
and
it's just amazing.
And it doesn't follow the rules because Marty McFly doesn't learn anything. Right? He doesn't. Well, he doesn't. He starts the movie. He gets his parents back together, but he doesn't have like an aha moment. He doesn't have a moment of growth. He just does the thing and then succeeds. It's not until you factor in the whole part of the trilogy where he stops letting people call him chicken affect him. That growth moment happens, I guess, in the third movie.
When he doesn't do the
race.
He doesn't do the
race.
Exactly.
Because every other time, fucking Mad Dog Tannen and call him chicken. It's, the fuck did you say to me?
Such a great
You know what I mean? But the whole idea is that there he has growth. He stops letting what other people say affect him. But that was never in the original. But remember, there was never a 2 and 3 during when that first one was written. Right? And a perfect example. Now, again, this is mildly forgivable, but they were saying the whole reason they knock out Jennifer and drop her in an alley is they never knew they never knew they were writing another movie. But the last one ended, she's in the car. So they got to deal with that. You know, they've got to deal with that. So they drop there an alley and they'll figure that out. But because they want Marty and Doc doing the thing. But that's an example of, well, we've done this. We've got to write it out. But they're not like, oh, we always planned on. Nope. They thought the movie was over. It ends with them flying off. You know, now the DeLorean flies on its own. So
that's right. Well, I just remember it was the one where they said, petrol wasn't invented for another whatever years, so they had to get the train to push the car.
Right.
And then they said, why didn't you just come with 2 little canisters of gas?
Well, the fuel line got shot by the arrow, so it was leaking the gas. It wasn't that he was out of gas, is that the car basically had all the gas drained out of it.
I guess what it is all the examples I hear is, why didn't you use the time machine earlier to plan on this? Because it all happened earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think someone else also said
paradoxes that come in with those movies that they didn't think about, right? You know?
Yeah.
But, all in all, it's just such a fantastic trilogy, you know? You can pick apart anything, so...
I wonder why Doc didn't drive at 88. He got hit by lightning.
There's a bunch.
That's why, because it didn't have any gas left in it, because it was flying. It was using the other stuff. But the thing that made it fly and everything was cooked, and it had no gas, so he couldn't drive it. So Marty fills with gas, goes back to get him, and then the fuel line breaks. So now
there's just been a couple of things where people were like, well, if you have a time machine earlier than that, you should have planned for the earlier.
And that's an adventure movie, like little tiny, so here's the thing, time machines don't exist. So nitpicking the time machine.
Exactly.
Whereas like the story's supposed to be about the conflict and everything like that. And that's why I say, like, when it's a conflict thing, right? When the show goes back and goes, oh, we're going to write in the whole thing that solves everything was something we didn't even know was in the story. That's 19 years ago or whatever, when the thing started. So that's where I go, I want it to be over, because then I can say, hey, those of you who watched it, was it good? Did it end good? Were you satisfied with the ending? Because everything that's not finished yet, I'm like, yeah, it could be great now. Lots of shows were really good for a while, and then just Walking Dead. I don't remember what season I stopped watching. It was probably the 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't care. But that's what I'm saying. So it's like, and it starts to repeat the same tropes or whatever.
Well, I just think about what happened with Lost. That was the...
That's another one, but I never watched it.
I watched a few seasons. I thought it was pretty good, and it slowly fizzled out where it's like, no, they're never going to get to whatever it was, and they were never in purgatory. The directors say that, but well, if that wasn't it, then what was it?
Well, that's the thing,
we
right?
didn't have any ideas.
Yeah,
you
no
know?
answers. J.J. Abrams went on to do Star Trek. 2 of those movies went on to do Star Wars. Terrible. And then I don't know, is he dead? What's he doing now? So I'm just going to tell you guys a goofy little sort of, I bought something this morning. It's called a Hume, Hume pod. It's a scale that you stand on, as you do with most scales. Not kitchen scales, before I feel like a complete idiot for explaining how a scale works. It's a scale you stand on barefoot, and it's got those sensors, right? They have them in gyms and stuff like that. Okay. That'll give you kind of like here's your fat percentage or whatever.
More than just your weight.
Well, this thing has like a handle, almost like a rowing machine that you grab in the front, you pull it up and you touch that. And it'll send electrical current through your upper body as well. Okay. So this thing measures your fat, your visceral fat and your subcutaneous fat. Okay. All right. Like this. Do you know the difference? I did, but probably not 5 years ago. I wouldn't have.
The fat that like keeps you warm, and then the fat that like coats your insides or whatever, like
pretty much.
Kidneys and
less eloquent than I would have said. Yeah. But essentially, your organs. Yes, I am a scientist. Putting batteries in a vibrator doesn't make you a scientist. I can Bluetooth my fleshlight.
Solar powered. Okay.
I have to fuck the cup in the backyard. It's solar powered.
Sorry, I'm trying to save the planet here.
Yeah, seriously. Carbon footprint. Anyways, your visceral fat is the fat that's like around your organs. Okay. And that's really not good to have a bunch of fat around your organs. Yeah. And then subcutaneous is like the stuff that's under your skin. Right. Okay. But anyways, it'll tell you how much of each of those you have somehow. Yeah. But anyways, the whole idea is like, I feel my age. I feel my age. Everything hurts all the time. And I'm like, okay, I need to start writing stuff, but writing, not writing. No W. Yeah. I need to start writing the course on all these things. Exactly. And I do know that, like, fasting is super important and everything like that. And I've done these things before and I've had success with them. Right. But I'm like, I know one of the things that discourages a lot of people, which is why I'm bringing this up, is that sometimes the weight doesn't change. Yeah. Right. But a lot of people know, not everybody, but a lot of people know that your like muscle weighs more than fat. So if you start working out and exercising, you will build muscle. So you might see the numbers not really changing. However, you've converted fat into muscle, and the numbers will drop and you will hit plateaus and things like that. This thing's kind of cool just in the sense that it tells you your weight, but it's telling you all these percentages, gives you a ton of biometrics, and it can sync with your phone and give it, it could take your Apple or your Android or whatever health info that you've already got there. And it'll coincide with, I have an Apple Watch and it records my walks and things like that, my steps. It'll add, it'll basically blend the data together. But this thing was like, I think the regular price in Canada, because you can find them, I saw the online thing first, but the price in Canada, that's where we live, you guys, just so you know. Sorry, scrolling. How much shit happened today that I'm getting fucking 900 emails since I bought this thing? There it is. Jesus. Regular price $478. Okay. And then it was on sale Black Friday for $299. I also, for the record, did about an hour plus of YouTube video reviews on this thing. Okay. Like, it just came across my feed, and I'll be lots of times I see something in my feed, I'm like, oh, that does look good. Right. And their little pitch on it looks great. Then I go to YouTube, I read the reviews, I jump on Google, see if it's reviewed. I want to see comparison videos. Yeah. I'm like, if this thing exists, I'm sure there's other things like it. Yeah. Saw comparisons. This seems to be the one that's the best. It's not the most expensive, but it is the most accurate, because there's a thing called a DEXA scan, which I'd never heard of until the first video I watched, where like you could pay to go to a center, like a medical center, and this thing scans. It tells you it looks like a sort of like a half MRI machine. Okay. Like the thing scans your body, moves over you. So you lay down, it's got a big scanner that goes almost like the medical things in Star Trek, like where they would lay down and it was just a thing over the center of them. Yeah, but it's like that, but it like moves back and forth. Called a DEXA scan, I believe. Tricorder. I have no idea what that. I have no idea what it costs. But you can get a DEXA scan that will tell you the same things. There's not really much else that tells you, but the DEXA scan is like the most accurate. This thing is like 98% accurate. Okay. And then some of the videos I watch is people went and got a DEXA scan and used their Hume pod, and it was like half a percentage point different. Okay. So like this thing is particularly accurate. So for me, it's just something that I check in with. If it becomes
ignorance is bliss, I think it's better to not know.
If it becomes part of the routine and I'm focused on my fasting and getting more exercise in, it'll be nice to see some results. Actually, yeah. So it was $500 essentially, $478. It was on Black Friday for $299, and then I found another promo code that made it another $60 off. I seen zero tax here. So it cost me $239.
Okay.
Okay. And considering I've paid fucking close to $200 for coffee presses lately, I'm like, something that should help motivate and give me some data, basically give me something to hit a new high score on. I did that. And then, so I bought that this morning. I'll tell you guys more about it when I get it. I haven't got it yet. And then I've also got yesterday, like late afternoon, I almost did a bit of a customer service run through all the shit that I've been buying.
Yeah.
I sent something back to Amazon. I paid Canada Post for the 1-day guaranteed delivery. And then, I popped on Amazon because it was pretty expensive. It was a big battery power thing. I jump on Amazon and it says not received yet. And I sent it on the 25th of November. So I'm like, I paid for like 1 day. It was a Tuesday. I'm like, it should have been there Wednesday, Thursday at the latest.
Yeah.
I go, it's now Monday. They still don't have it. That's $200 of my money that if they don't fucking get that thing back, I'm not getting back.
Yeah.
So look at, I pull it up on Canada Post and it's like, oh, weather conditions on the 27th. I'm like, and there's been no update since.
Yeah.
And I was like, also not okay. I paid. So like trying to get a hold of them to chat. It's like other people are like, I'll do it later. I'm like, no, I got to do it now or I'll forget. Like fucking figure it out.
Days will go by.
Yep.
A week, another week.
So did that. And they were like, oh, we'll open a ticket. You'll find out like the latest date. The outside date is December 23rd. I'm like, a month after I send it, you'll tell me whether or not you can find it or where it is. Cause they're like, yeah, there's no update in the system. It should have been updated. I'm like, where the fuck is it?
Yeah. And what you paid extra to have 1 day, you better get
right. Yeah, exactly. Well, they did refund me. They're like, oh, we'll refund you via check. Cool. I'll get a check in 6 years.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
My coffee subscription that I did.
Mail sucks, so don't be.
Yeah. My coffee subscription that I did, I'd sent them an email. And they finally responded yesterday. I guess I was like, hey, I'm on the site. I've had 0 emails telling me when this thing is shipping. I've had 0 emails, confirming. I went on the site and I looked at my account and I went under subscriptions and it shows no active subscriptions. I go, you took my money. And they're like, oh, sorry, we had a glitch in our system. Yeah. Blah, blah, blue. Go onto the thing, click on this link right here and order it from here. Don't order it from the main page. That's where the glitches occurred. But your first shipment's already on its way. So I was like, email back. Okay, you said it's on its way, but I don't see on the thing. It says unfulfilled. Like I see the order. You guys, your order is there. It just doesn't show me as a subscription. Blah blah blah. They're like, oh, sorry, we missed. But it will be fulfilled, but you have to go and order the new thing. I go, well, I'm on there. There's no button. And then I go, oh, I was on Safari. Yeah. I had to switch to Google Chrome, and the add to cart button was there because there was no fucking button on the page for the thing. Except the bad page you're not supposed to do. Yeah. But I figured out. So I'm sending them an email going, by the way, there's no button here. Took a screenshot, show them. Anyways, I ended up ordering the subscription because they're like, oh, order a new subscription. Like you'll still get the thing. You'll still get the deal. Here's the code. But it was just like, again, like you can't fix this. Yeah, so I did that.
Very professional, guys.
Yeah.
Very professional.
On my, now these were the people that were the best to me. I have a sleep apnea.
Yeah, I saw your machine over here.
Dare you reveal my codes? No, I just bought, you're seeing the tubes. Yeah. So I bought an incorrect tube on Black Friday, reached out to them, saying, I'm so sorry, I opened it. I didn't read, they looked exactly like the other one until I tried to connect it to the machine. It has a different head on it. Don't know what happened. It just didn't. And their policies, they'll only take it back if it's unopened. So I just said, like, it's a $40 tube. I'm like, look, if I send it back to you, I have to pay the shipping. Probably won't be so much, whatever. But I go, but like, if they were kind of like, well, it's really not our policy once it's been open. It's kind of a hygiene thing. I'm like, I didn't use it. Anyways, I said, like, worst case scenario, like if you'll consider just like, I'll even pay for the new one that I need, but can you waive the shipping? So for me to pay another $20 shipping just because that one. So they're like, well, I'll ask. This was like 10 to 5 yesterday. And I was like, fuck, it's always the end of the day. Call me back this morning. They go, well, yeah, we're just going to charge you 10. We're going to ship you a new one. We're just going to charge you the $10. They're not even asking me to return the other one. They're just sending me a new one with the $10 for shipping. I'm like, $10 to correct a mistake that I may or may not have made.
Yeah.
We're on it. Yeah. So there was that. Yeah. That was the best one. And then there's a company called OSnap that makes phone accessories and things like that, which I love. Okay. We'll order a bunch of stuff from them, or like the early 20s of November. Yeah. Right. 22nd, 21st, whatever. All of them saying that my stuff is coming
in transit, or
but have not. It's like, oh, it's shipped, but none of it has arrived at the shipping company. So the here's your tracking number. Go to that, and they're like, we haven't received your parcel yet. I'm like, where the fuck is it? Well, like lots of stuff is coming, but like for fuck's sakes, where are these things? And I've sent them emails like, hey, by the way, just curious, when am I gonna? No response. right? Like they told me, oh, don't, like I sent them a thing going, hey, how
It's
come my other
gotta
thing
be
hasn't shipped?
also this time of year, right? Like they're probably backed up like crazy for people. getting
Sure, but if you
Christmas
ship,
stuff, you know?
but if you're sending something to FedEx and
Yeah.
you go, hey, we gave it to FedEx today, and 10 days later, well, whatever, let's say like 6 business days later, FedEx is like, we haven't received your parcel. I'm like, well, they're saying they gave it to you. You're saying you didn't get it. And that's what I get to see
Yeah,
when I'm
that's
looking
right.
up my shit.
And I mean,
I don't like that. I'll wait. I
Yeah.
don't fucking care.
most companies can just say that.
Right.
We didn't get it from that.
And
Well,
Canada
they
Post
said
is
we
going,
got it.
oh, there's been a delay to unforeseen events
Yeah, yeah.
6 days ago.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What's happening to my where's
Centimeters
my
of snow?
shit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my shit? Put update held at facility, because they're saying hasn't been delivered due to weather issues.
Yeah.
But then you're not telling me it's so is it sitting in a warehouse then waiting to go?
Yeah.
You can put that on there and tell me, right?
Yeah.
And I'll go, okay, they're waiting till it's whatever.
Yeah,
But I know it's at the warehouse. I know it's in their
almost like,
possession.
who should I contact?
Yeah.
I've contacted you. If
Do I
you
need to,
don't
like-
have it, should I contact the company?
Exactly. Do I need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
look at
Yeah, a little
CTV News to see if there's a 17 truck pile up on the,
Yeah, exactly.
the
Yeah,
401 and a bunch of, Canada Post trucks trashed?
yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, at least I know what happened to it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So that's the thing,
kinda
it's just
keep it in
like,
the dark.
Oh, we don't know. Canada
Well-
Post is like, we can look into it and we can let you know in 22 days. I'm
Well,
like, it would take you
misdirection,
22 days to find the last place that had it,
Yeah.
call them and go, where's this
Yeah,
package?
do you have this thing?
You guys are saying it couldn't be delivered. So I'm just like, and these poor people that you actually finally get on the phone getting yelled at. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not enjoying being fucking hollered at.
I'm just starting to think about how many people are calling with this exact same problem that they're going to have to give the runaround to that many people.
Well, that's the thing. I'm just like,
It's
and I tell them all the time, I go,
bigger
look, I'm not
volume.
mad at you. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not calling you names,
yeah.
but I'm saying, but I can't talk to your superiors. So
Yeah,
if
the person
if
who
I
gets
tell
the
you what's
earful.
so frustrating, maybe you will get so sick of people complaining that you'll tell them, hey, why don't we have more information than they do? Because I talk to them, I go, you don't have any more information? They go, no, we only see what you do. I go, well, then what's the point of me calling you?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't see any-
service
Yeah,
here?
like you should be
Yeah.
able to get a little bit more insider info to know that it was scanned at what facility,
Yeah.
to go, oh, it's there. Oh, and this warning, what this usually means is that there was an issue. So they're holding it at the facility. I go, cool. You're giving me some comfort. Oh, they're holding it at the facility. They're like, listen, if it left, it would say this. So we know it's still like something like a little more insider information so that we don't worry or concern.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking the time to get a little more information. Could you
Make it
help
feel
me
like
with
they're
that?
actually on the ball with something.
100%.
I mean?
To call the experts, to call the people who go, hey, when you're paying the money,
Yeah.
it's one day, it's guaranteed, we got you, it's insured, you're good. Call them back. Look, we don't know any more than you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
They
yeah.
asked me, who are you sending it to? Amazon?
Yeah.
Do you have their own phone number and email? Do I have Amazon's phone number and email?
Me and
No.
Pens will go way back. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, I'll just
They're like, okay, and what was
see them at brunch tomorrow.
yeah,
I'll
and they're
talk
like,
to
and
them.
what's your address? I'm like,
Mhm.
how does my address help you find what I sent to someone else?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you have all of that on that reference number because
Yeah.
that's what was entered
Yeah.
in post office.
Yeah.
Like they're like,
I'll
but
just
we
say,
needed to
"Give
like
in my
we needed to
address."
file a ticket. So I'm like, so you don't even have access to the shit that went into your own system
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it was sent. You know? Anyways, again, like this is not how I talk to her, but it's funny that's a thing. And I just said, look, I'm sorry that you guys have to deal with this. I'm sure that's very frustrating.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I go, it's
Shoot the messenger, but
yeah, I go, but if you get sick
but
of
if there's
hearing
no
it,
one else to talk to, but the
if
messenger.
if you get sick of
exactly.
hearing it, you bitch to your bosses until they get so sick of hearing it from you guys that they go to their. You keep going up until
Yeah.
someone fixes
Yeah.
the
Well,
thing.
I feel like someone more likely just quit than
Maybe,
I'm talking to my manager.
maybe,
I'm gonna
but
have
the
a
idea
meeting
is
with my
like-
manager. I don't want these phone calls.
but the idea is
anymore.
fix it. If you can solve the problem, like I'm not saying find I should be able to call and you find it right now.
Yeah.
But you, as the person who received it, right, the company that's taken, like that's the service I'm paying for.
Yeah.
You should have more information than I do.
yeah,
and if you
exactly.
don't,
yeah.
I'm like, well, then what's going on there? You know, maybe I just use FedEx and pay for it.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're going to send me a check, so I'm not paying for it. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if they lost a 200 thing,
That's
the
time out of your
$19
day.
shipping,
Yeah.
yeah. So like literally between Canada Post, the coffee, the CPAP, and the OSNAP fucking people, I'm like, wow, this is quite the day of where the fuck is my shit?
Yeah. But
Anyways,
bring back small stores, man.
yeah,
That's what you
that was
gotta do,
my
yeah.
week, guys. This week coming up, nothing plugged. I'll be working my ass off, but that's what I'm going to be doing for the week. I'm going to recommend that you guys check out the Founders Original holiday boxes, the espresso box with the coffee mug, the spice box with the the spiced apple bourbon sour and spiced cranberry tequila margarita. And then we have some of our bourbon old fashioned smoking kits, which again, can't get bourbon in Canada, but you can get bourbon in our old fashioned. So if you're hankering for that, that's what I would say. Nothing unique yet on the week, but you never know what's going to happen. But if you guys want to send anything, contact at onemanpodcast.com. I would love to hear about maybe what things scared you as a kid, movies or TV, maybe what you think the intro horror movie should be for, maybe different age ranges. If you're trying to get your 8-year-old into horror movies, what do you think would not be traumatic, but would also be engaging enough to keep their attention? Right? Like Jaws is not super traumatic, but again, if you want to really know what's going on in the story and the plight of Chief Brody and all that bullshit, you got to have enough age and experience to understand the context on that. So, but if you have any suggestions, any of that stuff, any shows that you got into that you thought, this is great, and then really lost you, or shows that you've completed that you felt ended well, because again, I don't get a ton of spare time. So if I'm going to watch something, I don't want to spend 2-3 seasons just to go, wow, this sucks. So, or that ending sucked. Yeah. Right. I mean, again, I was a reader of Stephen King, so I have gotten through a lot of stories to have the ending just suck, but I didn't enjoy, it's not like I enjoyed the book any less in a lot of these cases. You're just like, oh, like Needful Things is the perfect example. That book has such a great story interwoven. The ending is nonsensical, and nonsensical isn't even enough of a word to describe how it's just like, it was like he wrote it in 5 minutes. It made no sense.
SNL.
Oh, dude, like I don't even know. Like, like if they had explained nothing, it would have been better than what they did. Yeah. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. So Mark, thank you so much for being here with me. I love your face.
Oh, thanks
so much. Such a pretty boy, such a handsome boy. I'm gonna, I appreciate you guys being here. Anything you want to know, like I said, send the email again one last time, contact at onemanpodcast.com. Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to the podcast, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.